What's up, everybody? Welcome to
Yes.
what's not going to be a special edition from here on out, probably. But
You know what? It's funny you brought that up right away because I was going to ask you if we're just going to go ahead and make the announcement that we're going to be reverting back to this, which is if anyone has been around for any length of time, especially the past maybe I guess 2-3 years or whatever. When we first started doing the show, we did the show at 10 a.m. on Saturdays. Some things changed. We decided to try something a little different, and then we switched it to Friday at 10. Well, my employment situation has actually changed. I'm going to be working for General Motors, and I actually got placed on third shift. Now, long story short, third shift at GM is Sunday night through Thursday night, but the department I'm working in runs almost 7 days a week, which means that a lot of weeks I'll be working Friday night into Saturday.
Right.
So I told Jason about it. And since we've already kind of have some history with going Saturday at 10 o'clock with the way we started the show, and then like in the case of this morning with our special guest we got coming up in just a few minutes, we've done plenty of interviews at 10 o'clock on Saturday anyway. Kind of by necessity, we're going to have to revert back to the original day and time when this thing started almost 5 years ago. So today is technically a special day and time, which is going to revert back to our normal day and time. So from here on out, the shows will be live on Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. So, life has a way of throwing some curveballs sometimes, but it's one of those situations where, your financial situation comes into play and you're given a new opportunity, and that's what happens. So thankfully we're still in a situation where we can do the show for us and for you guys.
It doesn't jeopardize the show at all. So
yeah, and for the guys we got coming on here in just a second. So
I want to, before we get into that, I just want to say we do not conversate with each other before the show, so we did not know that we were both going to be wearing Pantera t-shirts.
Yeah, we didn't.
I don't think that's happened very often, but it has happened a few times.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is we have. Hey, Peyton, what's happening? Is Peyton Spears is in the chat.
What's up?
The funny thing is we've worn the same band a couple times. There's only been one time where we inadvertently wore the exact same shirt from the exact same band. That's only happened.
Right? Yeah, that's only happened. And then after that, you would always notice it beforehand and go change. So,
which I did do that once.
Yeah. You didn't even get on. I didn't even know because you were still black on the screen in the background over here. So I was like, well, damn, he's on here. What's taking him so long? And you was like, oh, I see what you were wearing, so I went and changed shirts. I was like, oh,
yeah.
I was like, what the hell?
Well, I mean, the funny thing is we're both wearing Pantera shirts. Like I say, they're different shirts. And ironically enough, Pantera was actually in Nashville a couple nights ago. So I mean,
it is true. Yeah.
I didn't go. I didn't go because it was too expensive. So.
Sounds like we should have went. So because I mean, everybody got upgraded from what I understand. So
yeah. So hindsight is 20/20, and looking back, it's still a bit fuzzy. So.
That's right. There you go. All right. I guess without further ado, we will get our guest in here from all the way from Italy.
All the way from Italy. Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll get Zero and Danny from the band Game Over.
That's right.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Gentlemen.
Hey.
Welcome to the Metalheads podcast.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Cheers from Italy.
Yes, thank you. On a Saturday evening over in Italy.
Over there. Over here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Approaching evening in Italy.
Yeah. So is this our third band that we've talked to from Italy?
I think our third band from Italy this year. Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, that's crazy. We've actually broke into Italy now that we're never leaving, I guess. But
it seems that way. Yeah.
Which is crazy.
When did you interview?
We interviewed. I think the first band we interviewed was Never Obey Again. I don't know if you've heard of those guys.
Yep.
And then
Never Obey Again was first, and then Die for My Sins was earlier this year, and they're actually fronted by Ralph Sheepers from Primal Fear. So yeah, we didn't get to interview Ralph. I saw both of your guys' eyebrows go up, and trust me, And trust me, I thought the same thing because I've been a huge Primal Fear fan for probably about 11 years.
We might have to get the smelling sauce out for Chris if we get that interview. So,
like, so I would love to have a chance to interview Ralph because he's fantastic. But yeah, so yeah, we've broken in. We've been coming back to Europe frequently with our guests, which for us is amazing because we're able to bring bands from Europe over here because unfortunately, and it upsets us, unfortunately, coverage of musical acts from over in your guys' area, it's done very, very poorly over here. So thankfully we're able to do what we can. And so anytime we get to interview a band from over there, it makes us happy. And, you know, cause we want to advance heavy metal all over the place. So to be able to bring bands like you guys over here is awesome. And like I say, we hadn't gotten to Italy. We've been to like Sweden, Finland, Germany, Belgium, you know, the UK and Scotland. So, I mean, we've been all over the place, but this is the first time we've gotten this far south into Europe until this year. So it's good. So
you should visit Italy then. Next time you come to Europe.
I would love to visit Italy, dude.
The funny thing is I've never been to Europe, and I've always wanted that. There's places I've always wanted to go, but at this point, the itinerary that I have to theoretically put together just due to the bands that I've interviewed, because everyone's like, when you come to Europe, you need to come here. You need to come here. It's like, Jesus, I'm going to go to every country in Europe by the time I make it over there. At this
3-year trip, probably.
Yeah, I'll have to take a 1 or 2 month sabbatical and just go over there and visit every country at this point. So
I think you need at least 2 months, at least.
Yeah.
Once I get the Ireland trip behind me, I guess that's the next one I'll work on.
Oh yeah, you got that. You do have that coming up. That's right.
Yeah, so, but hey, so I don't know how long have you guys been with Scarlet now? Is this the first record with them, or?
No, it's like the fifth record.
So you've been with them a while, okay?
Yeah. Because we released the first album with another extreme underground label called My Graveyard Production.
My Graveyard, yeah.
Yeah. But they're not doing anything now. Like it's disbanded the label or something. And,
that's too bad. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the first album we recorded and Scarlet Records released is Burst Into the Quiet. So it's like 10 years that we work together with them. Yeah, this Face the End is the latest one. Yeah.
Okay, well that's good. Like, from our experience, I mean, those guys they push hard for their talent, man. They're like I can say this: we only have like 3 really active labels that email us, but when I say that, I mean they're super active. I mean, it's if we go a day without something in our inbox from any of those guys, it would be surprising to me.
Yeah, well, I mean it's crazy the amount of music that's been getting sent to us. And Scarlet, I'd have to take a look back at our inbox. I think Scarlet may actually be the most active of the 3. I don't know. I don't like count the emails from each in the inbox, but yeah, they are. I mean, if I'm looking at it right now, I actually have the inbox pulled up. I have.
Yeah, you know, they are one of the oldest label here in Italy, so they are. They know how to work, even if they are not used like Nuclear Blast or Century Media, but they really know how to, to work and do things in the right way.
That's good. That's good because I mean, hell, they've been easy for us to work with, and we're just a couple of guys with a podcast. So I mean, if they're that easy for us to work with, I mean, and getting interviews set up and everything else, I mean, I can only imagine. I mean, just knowing what we know about the label in our interactions, how easy it must be for you guys, because you guys are the ones making the product that comes out.
And I live in the same city where the label is based, so it's like I met the guys pretty much every week. So it's very it's like a small family with your record label, your band, other bands, and they also run a little pub, a little metal pub here in Milan.
Hell.
Oh,
Well,
nice.
Yeah.
well, that
So
would
it's
definitely be on the itinerary.
Yep, absolutely.
it's like a total metal life.
Yeah, because like you go to Italy and you're like, here's this cathedral from 1400,
Right.
and then here's a metal pub. I'm like,
Yeah.
where do I go? Fuck, where do I go first? Let's go over there, and then we'll go over there. So
If you go before to the church and after the pub, it will be okay. But if you switch, you can be very blasphemy in a sacred place.
well, that is true. You may want to go to the church first. That's true.
Well, I mean, it depends on how you look at it. I mean, I could go to the bar first and then go to the church and repent for drinking. So, I mean,
That's also true. Yep.
So I didn't mean to do that today. I meant to do that tomorrow.
So we'll talk about the new album here in a little bit. But let me ask this because we just talked about the first 5 albums have been released on Scarlet, and the first album was on Underground or My Graveyard Productions. Now, with that label being disbanded, like because they put the first album out, now did everything come back to you guys when the label disbanded? So I mean, because if at some point you guys, because I mean it came out in 2012, so let's just say, in 2032, coming up at the 20th anniversary of the album, like if you guys, are wanting to do like a re-release or something, I mean, is that even a possibility with the label being defunct? I mean, did you guys get the music back when the label went under? So did the ownership rights revert back to you guys?
Well, honestly, the first album has been reissued like in 2015, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, we got all the music back, and now Scarlet is free to re-release the album, and we released the vinyl version in 2022. Yeah, it's the first time we released the first album on vinyl. So yeah, we pretty much can do what we want with the first album. Yeah, we can give it to Scarlet, to other labels who are interested in doing stuff with it.
Okay. A reissue for the 10th anniversary of the first album, and it was out on Scarlet Record. I was a fan, so I buy them.
Oh, so there you go. Okay.
Not in the band, so I just remember. Oh, cool! It's already past 10 years. Oh my god. Okay. I'll buy it.
Yeah, 10 years goes by a lot faster than people think, unfortunately. But that's good that you guys had the ability to get that back, because I mean, there's been I've heard some stories where that happens, where like a label goes under, and then the band's like, we couldn't even get we can't even have our own property back. So I mean, I've heard of that happening. So that's good that you guys were able to get that back, because that would be kind of I've always thought that was weird. Because I mean, it's like, all right, well, you're not doing anything with it because you went out of business. Why can't we have it back? And then then the art just gets lost in the ether, and it just doesn't make any sense to me how that happens. But it does.
Sorry, at that time there was some very tricky contract with labels that will buy from you your royalties and your royalties on your music, and you cannot reproduce or sell without any of their acceptance in 5 or 6 years. But My River Production, I was not in the band at the time, but I knew the guy. He was a hero from the underground metal, and he was just a real nice guy who believed in underground metal. He was not taking advantage from any band he signed with, and he was a very cool guy, and this is why I think there is no problem with Scarlet to reissue that album,
Well, that's good too, knowing that the company you guys were originally working with was actually a good company too. So,
yeah.
That's good to hear, and that makes me feel even worse that the label actually went under than knowing that. Because I mean, a lot of times you'd hear about these labels going under, and it was kind of like their own fault because they didn't know what they were doing, didn't give a shit, and they were, all that. So I mean, to hear that the guy was actually it was actually a good dude, and the label just didn't make it. That actually kind of sucks to hear. I actually hate hearing that. But
I think that.
Yeah,
I think,
we know some guys that had some problems with their label, and yeah, it sucks when it happens, because if you don't have to, yeah, if you have to keep those songs in a box, it doesn't make sense to to keep the rights for the label. Just leave them to the band, so the band can do what they want with their songs, and
right,
keep them
100%.
alive.
Yeah,
Keep them
100%.
alive.
Absolutely. All right, so that out of the way. So Zero, you and Alessandro are the two original members of the band, and since Alessandro is not here, which is fine, we get whole bands on here, but we usually are dealing with one person in the band. Either way is fine. But take us through the formation of the band, and then we'll actually let Danny, when the timeline gets up to where Danny came in, we'll kind of let Danny talk about his introduction to the band. So take us through
The early days.
The formation of Game Over.
Okay. I think that Danny could tell the story by himself, because he knows our me and the other guys since the day one, because
Oh,
we
okay.
all live in the same city. We are all friends, so we all hang out all together,
yeah,
and yeah, he knows us,
Oh,
like,
okay. Okay, so
yeah.
Dan,
yeah.
so Danny,
Uh,
you were not an unknown quantity when you joined the band then.
no,
No, no.
no, I was there, Gandalf, 3,000 years ago, where Game Over just the game just came out, and at the time I asked them if they needed a singer. But
Okay.
they, no, no, we're just fine. We just wanted to be full in fourth. Okay, okay, not a problem. And they did so well, but I'm waiting since then. So
Okay. So you so
It
you
took like
so
it took
you were beating down the door for a long time.
well, yeah, no, I've been right down at the stage, down the stage as a fan, as one first minute fan. So
That's
that was
awesome.
the
I
first
like that.
concert. I joined them in the very beginning in this very small venue, doing some Metallica covers, just for
some
fun.
guests. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and going back to the beginning of the band, we started in 2008, and I was 14. Me and Alessandro, the other guy, the other guitar player, we were 14, so like child, like children, and everything started with the other singer, the singer that was in the band and played bass before
Hmm.
Danny, Reno, and our first drummer was another guy from our same city, the same city. We recorded a few demos and one EP, if I'm not wrong, and we started playing around Italy. But the first album we recorded came out only in 2012 via via Mike River Production, as we said,
Hmm.
and and do- in January of 2012 we had the first lineup change, and Vender, with the drummer, replaced the first drummer,
Hmm.
Marcello. And with the same lineup, we always recorded albums like Burst into the Quiet, Crimes Against Reality, Claiming Supremacy, Hell Frames. All these albums have the same lineup. So like since 2012, the lineup never changed. During these years, we played also in the US, and it's been like a dream come true for us because it's where thrash metal is born. So we had the
Right.
chance to play all the cities with the main thrash scenes, and that's been one of the best experience of our lives. We really hope to come back in the US as soon as possible. And yeah, we promoting all these albums. We played pretty much everywhere in Europe. We had the chance to play in China for
Wow.
Nice.
20
Okay.
yeah, 20 days in China. That's been really extreme because it's complete different world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a complete different world. Yeah, extremely long drives, and
Yeah. It's a massive country. Yeah.
yeah, it's extremely huge, and we had the chance to try very special food that I never thought it could exist. And yeah, and we played Japan. We always try to play as much as we can because it's I think and we think it's the best way we can convey our
Mm-hmm.
energy.
Hmm.
I like to record albums, but I prefer to play live shows way much than staying in the studio personally.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think I think a lot of artists actually share that opinion.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
know. I like. I was going to say. You say you guys kind of like was in the heart of thrash or whatever. I couldn't tell about any of the albums, but I'm just kidding.
yeah,
Sorry,
no, yeah.
I'm just joking. But but
Yeah, you
but
can't
I
hear the influence at all.
but it's funny that you say that because our before I ever looked into you guys or whatever, I had already gotten that feel from at least listening to the album. But I went back and was looking, and like Encyclopedia Metallum always has like a similar artist like list or whatever, and it's pretty much a who's who of thrash underneath you guys. And so it's kind
Hmm.
of like, and it's funny how I could go back and like, and this is before I even seen any of that. Is when I was listening to some of the older stuff, I was like, oh, that's got like a Megadeth vibe, or that has a Testament vibe to it, or something. Then I go and look at that, and there's, of course, all those bands are listed right there. I was like, well,
Right. Yeah.
I guess that makes sense then. So,
Yeah.
uh, but it's. I think that's the thing, though, is I don't think you can pinpoint any one band to you guys, though, because I think it seems like you've gotten a little inspiration from pretty much the who's who of thrash to create your own thing. And I think that's great because I think a lot of bands get tied down with, you know, saying like, well, I love this band and, then they'll wind up sounding too much like that band. Like, we got a good friend of ours from the show. He plays for a band called Ashes Rain here in North Carolina. And we brought up the fact that he said, man, you sound a lot like Matt Heafy from Trivium. And he said, I don't even know who that is. And I won't listen to him now because you said that. Because he said, I don't want my music to always sound like that.
Yep.
And it made sense to me. And I'm just like, wow, I never thought about it like that.
Hmm.
So it's cool to hear where, and like you guys have obviously transitioned a little bit in sound with the new record from what you had been doing too, which is not a bad thing, honestly.
No,
I
no,
mean,
no, absolutely not. Evolution.
I'll get into talking a little bit about the new album, and it was funny that when he sent us the album track, he sent us the video to which one was it?
I want to say it was Lust for Blood.
Lust for Blood. That's right. I knew it was Lust for something. I was trying to remember. Yeah, the Lust for Blood. So I watched the video first, and then when I was watching the video, I was like looking at like all the comments and stuff, and I was like, man, this is like probably spot on with some of the comments that were in there. And then that's when I decided, I said, you know what, I got to listen to this whole thing.
Yeah.
So I went back and I downloaded the whole thing, and then I listened to that on the way to work one day, and I said, this is and I emailed or messaged Curtis back and was like, man, this album's fucking fire, dude. And he's like, you want to interview him? I'm like, well, yeah.
Yep.
so I was like, and I'm not going to do this just to jerk your guys at Shane or anything, or try to build you up for anything, but it's probably one of my favorites of the year so far.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you very much.
I was going to bring this up at some point. Well, but since Jason already, I was going to bring this up later, but since Jason already said it, I don't know if you guys are familiar with a band from Spain called Angelus Apatrida.
Oh yeah.
But,
yeah, we know them.
Okay. You guys know Angelus Apatrida. All right. Well, a couple years ago, we were kind of in the same boat as with you guys. Mm-hmm. Now at the time we weren't getting music from labels and anything else. No. We were still new with this whole thing. So, but one day, Jason sent me a message and said, you need to check out this music video by this band. Cause what we do, what we do is we kind of hang out and, if the weather's shitty, we'll just hop on YouTube and just start, Googling bands.
Going down a rabbit hole.
What we do is if a band that we know and like has got a new video out, we'll watch it. And then, you guys know YouTube, there's always like suggestions at the bottom. And there's been times where we, like Jason said, we've gone down a rabbit hole and have kind of discovered, some new bands just by screwing around on YouTube. Well, one night he sent me a text that you need to listen to this band. And it was when their self-titled album came out in 22, and it was the video for the first single, Indoctrinate. And he's like, you need to watch this. And I watched it and I loved it. And I started, then there was the video for Bleed the Crown. So I was like, all right, we need to, and then, cause that album came out in February of 22. And it actually ended up being my album of the year that year. So it was almost a wire to wire leader for album of the year. Came out in February, lasted all the way through to the end of the year and was my album of the year. But
I really hope you keep him, you'll keep your, you'll keep this opinion in mind.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, but that's the thing is because when I listened to the album in preparation for the interview today, obviously wanted to get into as much of a history of you guys as I could. And like I said, I went all the way back to the beginning because I wanted to know, all that. I wanted to start with For Humanity, work my way all the way through the history of the band up until the present day in the new album. And that was actually one of the things I was thinking because, obviously listen to the new album first because it's the newest thing. It's like, all right, let's see what else there was. Let's see how the band started out. Let's see how they started out, how they sounded at first, how they evolved, and how they got to this point. And, I'm listening to the albums on my way back and forth to work, and I'm like, this is probably going to be the Italian Angelus Apatrida for me. Mm-hmm. I swear to God, I thought that because I was like, I've listened to all 6 albums all the way through. I've listened to Face the End probably about a half a dozen times just this week, and like I say, I'm not saying this like Jason. I'm not doing this just because you guys are on the show and you're in front of us. But I can't think of a song that I didn't enjoy on any of the albums. Mm-hmm. I can't think of one.
I want to say this too, and I know Chris knows how I feel about intros, but man, I think you guys have some of the badass intros that I think I've heard. Like I'm not a fan of intros. I'm not, but like you guys, like I'm okay with them as long as they try to blend in with what the band's doing. Right. But a lot of times it's just like, I mean, they could have, I'm like, they could have done without that. It's like, well, I mean, your guys' stuff almost feeds into the first track on like every album that I've listened to. And I was just like, man, it's crazy how like this is like becoming a thing of it's almost like it's your thing that you've done purposely to try to like, hey, this is what we do. And it's kind of like, and you do it well because, like I said, I'm honest with you. I don't really like a lot of intros. Like if it's an instrumental and it can be said, "Hey, this is a 1.5 2-minute instrumental," I'm okay with that. I'm always like the 50-second, 40-second shit, and then it's like piano, and then it goes into, and it's like, okay, that made no fucking sense. It's like, of course, I don't know what the band's thinking. I'm not shitting on what they're doing. I just don't understand because I'm not talking to the band. So
I think that Danny has the same opinion you just share with us.
Totally.
We were talking the same thing like a week ago, listening to a band that has this intro, and then everything changed completely. Like, okay,
yeah,
Well,
it would be like having a thrash intro to an Epica album or something. It's like you'd be like, "What the fuck was
Why?
that?"
right, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Why
and,
build an
and I
epic
don't,
intro to do a ta 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 ta? Why? Why?
yeah. And I don't understand why they would do that. Just, I
Doesn't make
mean,
any sense to me.
yeah, it's like because
right.
because I mean, I know you guys probably are sitting on other songs that didn't make the album. So I mean, there's probably other tracks that could have made it onto those albums, and they're just like, so it can't be fillers. I wouldn't think, just let's just throw an instrumental in there. I mean, obviously, it could be a producer thing wanting that on the album. I don't know.
That could be true. That could be true.
But I'm just like, I just like I said, you guys do it really well, and I'm just like, it's kind of like it gave me a different perspective. Like, man, I'm usually hard on this stuff, but I can't not like what they're doing right here. So I'll give you guys kudos for that at least. So.
Well, the funny thing about it, and the reason why I was laughing while Jason was talking about that is that is one thing that we've brought up a few times on this show in the past, and my whole thing, and he's not wrong, but my whole thing about it, about the whole intro thing, my peeve about it is, in a vacuum, I don't really mind an intro and instrumentals and all that. I actually love a good instrumental. I do.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah, if it's done really well, so. But my whole thing about it is, my only peeve about it is sometimes when you're getting a track list and you're like, because like the new album is 10 tracks and it's a little over 32 minutes long. My peeve about it, sometimes, depending, like Jason said, depending on the composition of said introduction, is when you've got something that's maybe 30 seconds long and it's an intro and they count that as a track. And you're like, I'm not getting 10 tracks when that was bullshit. That was a bullshit intro and that's a waste of a track. And now I feel cheated. So that's kind of my peeve about it. But it's actually another thing that's kind of funny that Jason brought up, because this is something I was also going to bring up later in the show, is I would have to look back on this, but I can't think of a band that has used intros or instrumental interludes as often as you guys have.
Yeah.
And I mean that in a good, because everything was the intros, the composition of the intros, the placement of the interludes within the track listing was very well done. So that's one of the things that I kind of noticed that as I was listening to the albums. I was like, man, that was put in a really good spot. That was really well done. So then the overall amount of the interludes and the intros you guys have, I was like, I don't know if I have listened to a band that's done that this often.
So what was crazy too to me is, while I was listening, I got so caught up in listening to it, I didn't realize it was an intro. Like, I was just sitting there listening to the album because I'm not paying attention. I'm just sitting there listening and driving.
Because when it finishes, just Lust for Blood comes in, and
it almost sounds like it was kind of a piece to the song.
Yeah, because we really love to make this kind of stuff. Yeah.
And then I had to go back and look, and I said, "Oh wow, that was only a minute and 46 track. Like, what the hell?" Like, I thought that was one song.
It's just to set you in the mood for the song and the album.
Right.
The intro, the final hour is just to set you in a mood for a horror movie, 80s horror movies with just this tension and the mood just came out, grows, and then you get kicked by Lust for Blood. But we just need to keep the impact of Lust for Blood without the intro in the video. And but if you want to listen to the whole album in its entirety, we'd love to give you a trip through the mood, through the sound, and it must be floating. You must.
We use this kind of intros also because if you see a show of a game over show, we use a lot of these interludes with instrumentals, and we like to when when we write an album and when we start putting all the songs together, we always think, okay, how this should sound if it's a concert, a game over show.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we keep in mind this yeah, this kind of this aspect of our shows, and we want to reproduce it in our albums. Also, we like also, the instrumental songs from bands like Metallica or from
Hmm. The Testament.
yeah, Testament. We think, we think that nowadays instrumental songs that long, maybe a little, um, they risk to don't receive much attention. So
Yeah.
in my opinion, I think it's better to, to write short instrumental songs, but that people could enjoy, and
Right.
we try to do this thing with Game Over. So
Mhm.
taking the live show aspect, taking our love for instrumental songs, and try to put everything together in our
Yeah.
albums. So this is why you find all these instrumental tracks in all our in
I think
our
Much
albums.
shorter because the Game Over got straight to the point in the
Yeah,
very
Eh,
briefing moment way.
that's true. It did.
I think
But
that Onward to Blackness was like probably one of my favorite ones. So I was like,
mm,
oh, good, this is so badass. Like, and like I said, it was like two. That one was one of the longer ones too. So it was like
yeah.
two
yeah,
minutes, 2 minutes 26 seconds. So I was actually was lost because I was thinking, oh, okay, this is pretty cool. And I said, this, I know, and I didn't look at the time thing or nothing because I'm just driving, of course. And I was just
Yeah.
like, oh, I said, this is gonna be a long song. And then of course it kicks into the next track, and I'm sitting there going, oh yeah, this is probably going to be 8 minute track or something, And then I looked down and I said, wait a minute, it changed names. What the hell?
Here's here's
So it's kind of funny.
here's the funny thing about that, Jason, is because you said you didn't get a chance to listen to the first, what is it, 2 albums?
The first two, yeah.
First two? Okay, so here's the funny thing. Here's the funny thing, and Zero, Danny, you guys may or may not know where I'm going with this, because if he didn't listen to the first 2 albums, he doesn't know about NSA, and he doesn't know about Metropolis Part 3.
yeah. He should listen to Metropolis Part 3. I really hope that the Dream Theater guys, I'd like to, we wrote Metropolis Part 3, hoping that Dream Theater once will listen to it, because
Mm.
what we said, like, that we try to keep thing simple and short. It's perfectly,
Yeah.
showed in those 2 songs that you just mentioned, like 30-second songs.
But
Yeah, because when I was listening to the first album, I got to NSA, and it's only 24 seconds, but I didn't know that at the time, and I'm sitting there, like Jason, I'm listening to it while I'm driving, and I was like, holy shit, this is going to be awesome. By the time I said that it was over, it's like, son of a bitch.
But
that was
like
the best part of the show at
Yeah.
those days.
Yeah. And the funny thing is like, I like when you described it just a second ago, I like the fact that the instrumentals and the interludes, and even NSA and Metropolis Part 3, and it wasn't just like, hey, let's have fun with this and record it and put it in the album, but you were also cognizant of the fact, like, we can there was a conscious decision when it was recorded, the interludes and intros and everything, that we're going to use this as part of the live production.
Yeah.
That way it wasn't
Yeah.
like, all right, we have to come, all right, now we have the album. Are we going to have to use something from somewhere else as an intro? Or, we're going to have to, come up with something to use as an interlude or something for, in between songs or whatever and whatnot. You guys made a conscious decision to add stuff onto these albums that are going to translate to the stage, and people will actually know what that is.
Yeah, because clearly everything changed during the years. The first 3 albums were a little different because the instrumental parts were way. I think there was just one instrumental in Crimes Against Reality, and it's the intro.
Mm-hmm.
And the other ones were, yeah, like 30-second songs in the SOD style. We started introducing this idea of interludes to be used during our shows when we really started doing this kind of stuff during our shows. So in 2017, when before recording Claiming Supremacy, and then we said why we don't put these interludes, these small intros, these short instrumental songs in our albums too. And then it's with Claiming Supremacy that we started trying these new directions, this new direction. Yeah.
So let
So
me going back to what I was saying before. Now I can't. Now when I do, so I am going to listen to those two albums. I just haven't gotten to yet. But when I go back and listen to those now, I know where you guys are coming from with it. So I'm going to have a different perspective when I do listen.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm listening to it blindly and I never get a perspective like that, then I'm just kind of like, what the fuck, you know? Whereas you've already given me a upfront, analysis of why you did it. So now I'm going to go in with that mindset. So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying any of that stuff's bad. I just don't know what the band's feeling when they're doing it. And like, to me as a fan and a listener, I'm just like, sometimes I'm just like, well, that doesn't make sense. Like Danny was saying a minute ago. But like I said, without me not knowing their mentality of why they did it, I'm not going to like just totally shit on it. I'm just going to say it just doesn't work for me because I don't know. That's kind of where I stand with it. As far as like other things. But you guys, of course, like I said, once I listen to that now, I'm going to go in with that. Oh, well, I can see that on the stage right now. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and NSA is going to make you laugh, Jason. It will.
Yeah,
even knowing the story, it's still going to make you laugh.
Okay.
it's still, it'll still make you laugh.
Hughie Minor D, he said in Crimes Against Reality.
Yeah. That was another one.
Yeah, and like I can't remember who it was because we listened to so much stuff, but I did listen to an album recently, and it was pretty much the name of the album was pretty much like the end of the world annihilation type name. I can't remember. Like I said, I had to go back and look at my notes, but one of the first tracks on there was a kind of a PSA, and it was like sirens going off, and they had like had this voice come on telling you to there's been an imminent danger, take cover, and all this stuff. So I mean, it made sense because that was kind of like, okay, well, I can see that blending in with the title to the album. So things like that doesn't bother me as much as like I said, you come out with like this piano type stuff, and then it's just like ripping into a damn shredded guitar. I'm just like, okay, well, that was kind of weird, but it's like Faith No More just went in from the piano parts to epic into Angels at Patritas Bleed the Crown or something. It's just we were just talking about that. So it's kind of like what I'm saying. It's like it just doesn't like match up a lot of times when we're listening to some
depends
stuff.
on I think depends on the style of the of your band, and if you want to do things more, I think everything should make sense in its entirety. If you make something that doesn't fit with your style, you notice it.
Yeah. Well, for one reason, I'm not going to shoot on it because I can't play it. So I mean,
yeah, right. Yeah,
it's like, well, I can't play it, so you're obviously already a step ahead of me anyway. So.
More than a step ahead, yeah, by a bunch.
Well, if nothing else, we finally met the masters of the intros in Game Over. So
no, would be cool, but we are not.
We are not masters at all. No.
You're not masters at all. Yeah.
So you mentioned a little while ago that you guys have been to the U.S. before and are hoping to get back. How long has it been since you guys have been here?
9 years. 9 years.
Okay.
We've been there in May 2016. We toured for 1 month and a half from coast to coast and then back. And since then we never came back. We never came back. We hope to come back as soon as possible because we really have great memories from that tour. It's
So
been
so
really cool.
give you since you haven't planned it yet, we are in the Nashville, Tennessee area. So
Yeah, just write that. Yeah, just write that. Nashville,
anywhere in the
Tennessee. Yeah,
vicinity would be great.
yeah.
Would be great, yeah. Because we didn't play the Tennessee. No,
See,
we
there you go.
only
There you go.
we only passed through it in the way back from Miami to New York.
Oh, okay. So
Oh,
even
all
like
right. Yeah,
so even like an Atlanta show, we'll take that.
Atlanta would be fine. Yeah, Knoxville.
Yeah.
Knoxville,
Yeah,
I
Louisville.
Yeah, Louisville's not that far. Yeah, we can probably do
No, Louisville's not that far.
Yeah.
So yeah,
we'll let you know. We'll let you
Yeah.
know if we come to Tennessee anyway.
Oh, we're gonna know because we're already following you on all your socials.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, we'll know.
So, but
of course, the funny thing is Scarlett would probably tell us a month before the tour's announced anyway.
That's true. That's
Probably
Maybe.
yes. Probably yes.
But it's definitely like one of the things that we try to do because what we're doing with the podcast is we're talking to overseas bands a lot, and that's mainly because they don't get the credit like Chris was saying earlier that we think they're due over here in the States. And then we talk to a lot of bands over here that's probably not known. I go and I look at when I reach out personally for interviews, I look at their followings and say, man, if their following isn't where I think it should be, I'm like, hey, let me pump that up for you. I'll help you in whatever way I can because that's what we're doing. We're trying to get your bands like you guys in front of as many people as possible here. And because I think radios aren't going to do it. I mean,
radio,
garbage. It's garbage. So
it's much appreciated.
Very strange because the two are Europe and USA are just two very different kind of market.
Right.
The Europe stuff doesn't go into US stuff, and that US stuff get more into Europe stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's much more easier for US metal band to get to Europe and to get known in Europe because but the other way, Europe to US, it's very difficult. You in Italy, it's even worse than Europe because for getting bigger in Italy, you get bigger in Europe. But if you want to get bigger in Europe, you need to get bigger in Italy. So it's just
strange, a circle that never ends.
I was actually going to ask you about that because when Jason talked about that we've interviewed a couple of other Italian bands over the past year, and when we talked to Never Obey Again, that's actually one of the things that they were talking about. They were talking because because when we're talking to a band from a new country for the first time, we also we like to hear about the band and everything, but we also kind of like to get an idea of what the scene is like. And they were in, Carol and crap, I can't remember her husband's name, and I feel bad about
Alessandro.
That.
You mean Alessandro?
Yes. Yes.
Alessandro.
Yes.
Alex.
That's it.
Alex.
Yeah. Carol and Alex. We were talking with Carol and Alex, and we were asking about that, and they were like, the scene here is not that great. That they also they're like the thing to do here is to go north and to get further north into other countries, and so I was going to ask about that too, how you guys felt about the scene. So, but I mean, you already answered the question. So I
think it was kind of like for us not knowing anything about the scene is like we're thinking, oh, well, Lacuna Coil came out of there, so it must be popping, right? Well, not necessarily. So it's like you have big metal bands that came from Italy, but it's the scene.
Yeah, but they always become bigger outside Italy.
Right. Exactly. That's what I was saying.
Yeah. Like also we have Fools here right now that they're getting bigger in the US, and now they're getting more known in Italy. Or for example, Flash God Apocalypse. I don't know if you know that.
Oh yeah.
they're pretty much big outside Italy, and after they became big outside Italy, they started getting credits in Italy too. So this is how it works here. I don't know why, but that's
It,
how it
it,
works.
that, that,
I don't remember if we actually touched on asking the question, but I was just is it because of just there's not venues that support the type of music there in Italy, or is it just a political thing to where they're just like we don't want that here, or I mean I'm not
No,
trying to.
I don't know. I think it's more something like you have to reach a certain kind of status outside, and when you get
Then you
You
can
need
do
to
stuff inside.
prove you need to prove that you can bring money to the venue.
Hmm.
yeah,
Gotcha.
and
No
that
one
seems.
no one trusts metal music. No one trusts any kind of uh, property. There's much more tribute band working here in Italy. You know,
Okay.
ACDC, Rolling Stone, Italian stuff all along the way. But if you do your own music,
it's way
you're
harder.
is way out
Hmm.
of it. You cannot do that. You have to put so much money, so much effort, so much everything to do every little step. So
Hmm.
it's
Yeah.
very difficult to.
I mean, that's to me that seems
Kind of
backwards.
backwards, yeah.
It does. It seems backwards because I mean, but the funny thing is especially over there in Italy with the Vatican and everything. I'm actually glad to hear that a lot of it isn't religious too, because
True. Yeah.
we
We
all
get a lot of that
know
here, so
yeah,
yeah.
so we all know for the most part how religion kind of looks down on our genre of music. So it's
Hmm.
kind of good to know that that it's
Well, and
that it's not really that because I think that would be unfair. But
most of that is just I call it religious ignorance because people don't understand. Like they can say, "Oh, well, the pentagram means this." I'm like, but does it though? Have you read
I don't,
anything in the Bible saying it means that? Or it's like you want
I
to.
don't
The thing is,
know.
if you want to go buy a book, then you should go buy the book, not create something
Yeah,
that doesn't
sure.
exist in there. So
in the guise of that book,
well, exactly. I mean, whatever one you read, or I don't
right? Yeah,
know.
yeah,
I don't
exactly.
know all religions, so I don't know what
No,
everybody thinks. But
in US it's a religion problem for
hmm
metal
Hmm.
to came up. No,
hmm
the religion is not a problem. Yeah, I don't know, maybe because we have the Pope inside our house, but
Yeah, that's true.
that is
it's a
true.
very
Yeah.
it's a problem. But metalhead was just normalized. We are not. Well, maybe 15 years ago there was a murder in the north, but due by satanic based the listen to Slayer. So everyone at the news says how all Metalhead are satanic, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
they just flew came down with nothing. And if you listen to every kind of music, no one will bother you. It's no problem in metal music, indeed, but it's there's no much people to listen that listen to metal music. So
Yeah.
if you do a concert in a small venue, it will bring you can bring 20 people, 10 people, then
Mhm.
you cannot come back again because the incomes was not
Right.
enough.
Yeah.
So it's everybody turns around the money in Italy.
Mhm.
So
It's fun.
if
It's
you
fun.
can prove yourself that in Europe you are a valuable member of the community, then in Italy say, oh, okay, oh, so you bring us 1,000 people, so you can enjoy,
I
and
know,
but it's very difficult.
I know it's crazy here. I was talking to somebody about this the other day of how back in the '80s we were talking about how we were the metal community and stuff was attacked by government all the time.
Hmm.
Whether like Twisted Sister had to go on trial, Ozzy had to be
Yeah,
on trial, Judas Priest had to be on trial. I mean, all these guys had to be on trial at some point. And now it's almost like it's kind of opposite to where a lot of metal bands are singing about politics, which I
yeah.
don't think that's an old thing. I just think it's more common now than it was then. because you're talking about sex, drugs, and rock and roll era compared to now. But I just think it's kind of wild how we kind of reverted back from fuck the man to like, oh, we're going to praise him now with this song. It's like what the it's just crazy to me sometimes. I mean, I don't, and like I said, I don't care what political views they're on. I've said this 100 times. I don't care what side you're on. If your music's great, I'm going to listen to it. I don't care.
That's just keeping the two things separate.
Yeah, because I think that's the main thing. Is I think that's what hurts a lot of bands here is they try to get too into political views and then they start losing fans one side or the other because of what they're believing. And my best thing was Alice Cooper. They asked him a direct question about that one time. And he says, "Yeah, none of that matters to me." He said, "I'm here to make rock music." So. And I think that's probably the best answer you could have is like, don't take a side because it's going to hurt your fan base at some point. I think you can have a political view, but I think you should separate that from your music.
Time and a place. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think one of our, Machine Heads, probably a prime example. Rob Flynn does his political stuff on the side. He doesn't go to concerts and, fuck whoever's in charge, It's kind of like
I think it depends on the way you express with music, because if someone had a need to keep politics and your idea in your music and you want to spread it with your music, it's okay for me. It's not a problem.
Right.
But I know that I have to keep separate the music and the political stuff.
Exactly. I think a lot of people have a hard time doing that, and that's kind of sad in a way.
Of course. But maybe in our core music, in our core punk music, it's more frequent to mix politics and opinion with music. It's more political driven music,
And that's why you guys think about horror, right? I mean,
because
everybody loves horror, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of which, if you guys come here, you gotta I would love to see a tour with Game Over and Iceland Kills. That would be killer. To have that horror themed show. So
we can work on it. You mean an horror show run by us?
Yeah.
Well, there's actually there's another band that I did the review. It may have been last year I did it. I'd have to look back. But I don't know if you've heard of the band Freddy Krueger's Underwear. They go by FKU.
Oh God, yeah.
Have you guys heard of them? Yeah, they're from they're from Sweden. Okay, so
Human Underwear Dweller. I know that kind of stuff of 2020. It was very funny.
Yeah, so I actually did a review on FKU's last album. I wanted to say it was last year, but yeah, they're a horror themed thrash band. But my one thing with FKU is I enjoyed the album, but for some reason they didn't put any guitar solos in their songs. And I'm like, how the hell can you be a thrash band and not do a guitar solo? I don't understand. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not a law or anything. It's not a law.
Oh yeah.
But there wasn't one on the whole album. It's like, how do you not have one somewhere? But they
can't do it.
Maybe
they're just tired.
Or maybe they were tired.
I don't want to play a solo. Maybe.
But no, it was a good album, and I actually like their stuff. So I mean, yeah, if you guys could hook up over there and go around and 10, 12, 15 dates over in Europe with them, I mean, you guys would probably mesh together well with some of the songs that you guys write. Speaking of, real quick, and Jason already knows about this because I brought it up before. I love heavy metal songs about heavy metal, and you guys have a bunch.
Yeah.
I love heavy metal songs about how awesome heavy metal is, and you guys have a bunch.
We love heavy metal.
We love heavy metal so much.
Yes, I mean it's
which is going to be on the next playlist we do about that, I'm sure. So
because we've done one before. It's actually been at least a couple years. We should probably
it's probably time to do another.
We should probably do 2.0 or something like that. But I mean, obviously, Neck Breaking Dance was the one on the new album, and I could tell you guys had fun with that one when you recorded it.
Yeah, we had fun. Yeah. We wanted to make like something a sort of party song, but not too much party song, but something that speaks about what we like to do, what we love, about the music we love, about our friends, and something like that. Yeah.
Because
Then yeah, Danny.
because life sucks, but while you're in a concert and you're having fun with trash metal music and you're dancing and you're punching your friend with friendly violent fun,
That's right. The toxic waltz. Hell yeah.
and it's in that specific moment everything is just fine and you're just happy and you don't need anything else,
Right.
and that was the thought behind the neck breaking dance. You're just having fun while you're breaking your fucking neck.
That's right. That's right. Well,
So
and I kind of liked the voice, the couple of voiceover parts you guys put in there. Oh wow! So all you guys do is run around in a circle, right? That's exactly what you do. Yeah, and you don't need anything else. That's all you do. Just run around.
yeah,
That's all you do. Just run around in a circle. Yeah, kick
Another,
your friend in
kind
the
of
head and
mocking.
have a ball. That's right.
we brought that.
Exactly.
Sure.
Yeah, bringing it back to the music a little bit was I was we talked about the intros, but I think another thing you guys do well is the backing vocals. I think because you don't do it all the time, but I think like when you do it, it's like so perfect.
Yeah,
It's like certain songs, I'm just like, oh, this is this, and I try to imagine like when I say that, I try to imagine the songs without the vote, without the backing vocals, and I'm just like, yeah, I think this actually enhanced the listening of the song. So,
yeah,
The
and like I
song
said,
is just built around the gang vocals,
yeah.
and so if you take them off, the whole songs will go down.
That's
yeah,
true. Yeah,
yeah,
they give it the gang vocals give you kind of like that little anthemic dynamic to them,
exactly,
and
yeah,
I mean, because I was like, that's, I mean, Anthrax does that so much, and I
they
love it.
do,
So Anthrax does it all the time, and you guys threw that shit in there, and I was like, God, because like Jason talked about it earlier in the show. I mean, there's a lot of the West Coast influence that you guys said that has been in there, and I mean,
so
talking about Bay Area bands, and I mean, there
Also
you
the
go.
way
I mean,
also the way they incorporate it kind of reminded me a lot of Skid Row because Skid Row never did a lot of that, but when they did, it was so perfect.
hammered at
And
home. Yep.
yeah, it just hammered it home. Like, yeah, you're right. Just so good. Danny, you kind of mentioned something too about the distribution between here and there. Is there like the Scarlet? Are they able to? Do they have a U.S. distribution for your guys' albums and stuff too, or do you guys have one? Or
We
Maybe
do.
Zero can answer that.
Yeah. I know that Scarlet Records has a headquarter in Los Angeles too,
Okay,
Oh, okay.
okay,
a small one. So when they print an album, when they release an album, they have the European distribution and the US distribution, and
okay.
they used to have a Russian distribution too. I don't know if
Oh
they
wow,
still have it, but
interesting.
yeah,
I don't think so,
they
but maybe.
I don't think so, but maybe. Yeah, but they can reach pretty much every single place on earth. They really can deliver our stuff
That's
everywhere.
awesome. Yeah, I thought
I'm
I
I'm
thought
sure
I
that
thought I thought I had
yeah
remember talking to another band from there, and they said that there was a distribution here, but I wasn't. Like I said, I didn't
yeah
know if I was remembering correctly. So
yeah.
that's
When we
awesome.
toured the US, for example, when we toured the US, we get all the CDs and vinyls in US directly. Like we arrived in New York, and they gave us all the stuff,
Oh,
CDs,
okay.
vinyls, and shit. So yeah, we didn't have to bring anything from Europe.
Well, that's good because I noticed like a lot of times we talk to bands from over there, and they say how crazy expensive it is to distribute over here if they're doing
Yeah.
it from there to here. You're talking damn near double the album. Buying an album is damn
Mm.
near double the cost because of shipping and all that
Yeah,
stuff. So
Yeah.
shipping is what'll
yeah,
get
it's
you.
yeah, it's ridiculous, man. I know that one album we were going to order from Hex. It was like I don't know, $20 something, and then the shipping on
Yeah,
it was
for the
seven. It was
shipping.
the shipping was like 17. I was like, golly, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
But,
Of course, with
Yeah,
of course, with Russian distribution, you don't even have to order it; they just tell you it's coming. So
that's good. Wow.
fucking hell.
So I guess there was one thing I was going to ask. I don't remember what it was now, but I guess like toward we kind of answered the question about Danny joining the band, and so what made the previous one exit?
Reno was the main frontman and the bass player.
Yeah,
Just
Liv. Or,
yeah, Reno. Yeah, left the band in January
oh,
2023, 24. Sorry,
okay.
24. Because he just he felt like just he didn't want to play thrash metal anymore. He was like a little tired of
Okay.
playing this kind of music and preferred to follow different music path. But yeah,
So
there's no bad blood between us. It's just because he preferred to do something different. And
okay.
yeah,
So is he still doing the Asgard thing then? Or
Yeah.
sorry.
they said he was in a previous band, Asgard. Is he still like?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, he
still.
does something with them, but not that much. I mean, I think because it's one of those bands that play a couple of shows
The
every
singer,
6 months.
the
Okay,
actor
gotcha.
singer live in the UK, so
Yeah,
they have to arrange some to do some shows. It's very difficult to plan because of the
Gotcha.
logistic stuff. It's they play just a couple of shows in per years, and they're just fine with that. But I heard the rumors they're working on a new album, so
Okay,
Oh, that'd be cool.
good deal. So
So
Danny, when you the last band you were in, was it Demolition Saint or was
yeah, it's actually I'm still in Demolition Saint, and
that was the next question I was going to ask? Is it still kind of just an ongoing
yes,
project?
because
Maybe?
I'm pretty much the Demolition Saint. So
Gotcha.
yes,
Okay.
that was my project. After Game Over just reject me, but
well, I mean, you had to do something until they needed a singer.
yeah,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
I wanted to go on stage so badly that I wanted my band. Actually, in Demolition Saint, in the first lineup, there was a very young Alessandro Sansone that left the band for joining Game Over. So uh, now back in the days, but after a break about 8 years. Before Game Over called me in, I was just trying to rebuild the Demolition Saint. I just lost two members, and I recruit another two. And in 2024, I had just a bad year for medical stuff, and I need
Mm.
to stop. But when I just bring the mic again. I just received the call of Game Over, and Demolition Saint was just growing stuff. And it's okay, everything. I'll just do everything. I'll sing in every band in the world. I know
He
I
gonna be
can't do
the
it.
he
Yeah,
gonna
I
be
still
the
have
next Max
another.
Cavalera.
Yeah,
right.
for
yeah.
sure. Yes, because I have another trash band based in Florence that's called Sophisticator, and I was
Okay.
we're just writing the new album. Just a few problems there, but okay. But it's just okay. We're just recording this year. Next year we'll be out soon, and so I have just too much band. I know, but I can do everything.
Gotcha.
yeah.
So was Sophisticator was the last project you were actually doing stuff with before Game Over? Then
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
The mission safe was stopped in 2000 in 2017, and I joined Sophisticator in the 18. So yeah.
Okay, gotcha, gotcha. I will say this, like man, I love look, Danny. I love your energy with things that I've seen so far. So I can't imagine live being any different. So I think you guys have, I think you probably got something to hold over their head there. So like you've been missing out on this for 18 years.
You could have had this. Yeah, you could have had this all along.
No, not saying anything bad about the previous albums, but I'm just joking. But
Well,
I'm just holding it for 15 years. So yeah,
but I mean, you do bring a different sound to the band, though, and I think that, and I think it's very refreshing, and I'm sure they would say the same thing because.
I just wanted to bring more melodic stuff because thrash metal is it's the way I express in music, but the real love is for heavy metal, traditional metal, heavy metal. So Judas Priest,
Yeah.
Hell
one
yeah.
of my favorite bands is Vicious Rumors. So
Oh yeah.
U.S.
Oh,
metal.
yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
Also,
yeah.
Carl Albert is one of my favorite singers of all time. So I just wanted to bring that kind of energy into my style, and Game Over just suit perfectly with this style for me. And I think just the transition is just because we met them for so much time, and I'm such a fan for so many years that I just knew how to work on it, how smooth would be work with us with these guys, and just came out naturally. And I just bring, oh, guys, I know that Reno was much rock and roll approach on vocals, but I love to put some backing vocals with harmonizing vocals. Say, do you guys like this stuff? Yeah, yes, of course you like this stuff. Okay, there's no problem from there. Okay. So and then just the album just came out, and the process was pretty much naturally and came out natural, and the energy that we share, I I bring some energy, and I give, and I have energy back. So it was just the right blend of energy that just it's just the right thing to do.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, I mean, luckily, like all the pieces fell into place for the band and Danny. So
Yeah.
so then like everything's working out in the end. So that's the main things. So I know this is one of the things that we like to do here too. Is like we're big on like album covers and stuff like that. So we always like to
Oh
get
yeah.
the what and knots on the album cover. So who was the artist behind the album cover here?
It's Mario Lopez, who is this guy from Guatemala, and he took care of pretty much all our album covers. He first draw Burst into the Quiet. That's the first cover album he drew for us. He
Okay.
painted for us, and we never we kept on working with him because we feel like he can translate our thoughts and our hints into art. So for us, it's the perfect match for what we want for our album covers.
Yeah. That's what I
I
was,
think.
I was going to say. You guys have had some awesome, not just this one, but even the past ones were some
Oh,
pretty
they're
awesome album
yeah, they're
covers.
all good. They've all been good.
Thanks,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. I've liked every single one of them. I mean, it's kind of like I mean, obviously every album cover has a story, of course, for every band,
Yeah.
but the way that your guys' album covers are set up and the way that a lot of the overriding themes and everything and how well everything came out kind of reminds me, Jason, of like all the album covers that we talked about when we interviewed Brainstorm. Kind of the same thing.
Yeah. I can see
So
that.
I mean, it's like the color compositions and everything, the way everything flows and all that stuff. Of course, they use the same artist for a lot of their stuff too. So you kind of get So not only do you get like when you're talking about a band and when you're listening to a band and you kind of get a feel for how they're going to sound, having the same artist like you guys have been using for 5 of the 6 albums, you also get the visual aspect of it because you work with the same guy and you build that relationship. So you also kind of get like, you more or less get a trademark visual in addition to your trademark sound, and the two kind of tie in together. So, there's a cohesiveness to it.
Yeah, I think it's extremely important to have, a strong visual and a strong sound, but not only for what concern an album cover, but also for what concern everything related to merchandise, everything related to graphic stuff. For example, flyers or social networks, graphics, and stuff like that. Because everything goes together. If you're a band that wants to videos too, obviously. If you're a band that wants to look like an 80s horror movie and stuff like that, you have to work on that and to work on your what people see about your visuals,
Mm-hmm.
and for me, in my opinion, it's important as much as music.
Yeah. I noticed like too this little the face here. He kind of uses that a lot for you guys. Is that kind of becoming a trademark with the album covers, or
You yeah, Danny.
Oh, you can go. I think he just speak of Larry.
Larry. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, you mean the small skull with
yeah.
horns?
Oh,
Yeah, it's
you guys have get. Oh, so his name is Larry. So that kind of answers that question.
yeah.
Answers that question.
That's awesome.
We got Eddie.
yeah,
We got Eddie. We got Vic Rattlehead, and we have Larry.
we thought it was
Oh, it's just Larry.
it's just Larry.
Just
It's
Larry. Yeah, just Larry.
yeah,
I do. I like that.
it was to be honest, it was a Danny idea to
Okay.
have a mascot with that we can use sometimes in our merchandise, in our graphics and stuff. And I got inspiration also from the album cover, the album artwork, and it's pretty much similar. And I said, why not keeping because I took care of drawing the Larry, okay, and I got inspiration from Mario Lopez, and our latest album cover. And we try to put together also elements from our logo. It has those spikes that reminds the G and the R of the logo, and 3 horns like the G, the E, O, and R. So we
Right.
try to put together many elements in our Larry.
Larry is just the face of Game Over on merchandise, and we just wanted to have recognizable visual stuff to do. Oh, it's Game Over stuff, and it's just funny to name it Larry because it's just why
It
not?
was fun. It was fun. A
It's just
funny
one of
name.
us.
Yeah.
I'm Danny and he's Larry. No problem.
That's
It's just a
hilarious.
funny duo.
Lanny and Danny and Larry. Hell yeah, man! I
Yeah.
appreciate it. I can appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
well, why not? We can meet some Lenny at some point, and
I'm
Sure.
going to do this too because I wanted to point this out to you. I know it's an older album cover, but I wanted to share this too.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna. Because all right.
So let me see if I can maximize this or something. Let's see. Let me do this. I'll just do it this way. Let me stop doing that one and I'll share this one because that way we can get a whole view of the album cover here. So,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. See, there it is. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah. So this is like one of the things I always notice about all of your album covers too is you guys always make sure that the game over sticks out in all the album covers.
Oh
And I
yeah.
think that's very important because a lot of times I have seen where some stuff blends in too much, and I have seen a couple album covers where I'm just like looking for the names of stuff. I'm like, where the hell is? Oh, there it is. It's like
Yeah. Yeah.
so. I mean, so I think it's really good, and like I said, it always changes color too. So it's not like a thing where you guys are like, oh, it's got to be purple all the time, or it's got to be
Yep.
something all the time. So it's kind of cool that you guys are okay with changing that color, to make the album kind of or make it stick out on the album. So
Yeah, also because if you think that nowadays you have to, you see the album cover on your smartphone,
Hmm.
so you see your album cover on small screens, on small avatars, and I think that it's important that people see the name of the band when they're listening to music, because we nowadays there are so much music, there are so much bands, you listen a lot of music, and if it's hard to find which band you're listening to, because you don't see the logo, the name or whatever, it's get harder to keep in mind your band, your music, everything. So I think that this, having your big logo on the album, it's important for this reason for me.
yeah, yeah,
Yep.
If you think about big bands such as Metallica, Megadeth, Anthrax, they always, Iron Maiden, they always put their logo as big as they can in
yeah,
their in their, in
Hmm.
their album cover. So I think if they do this way, it means that this works.
Yep. There's a visual correlation, like you say, because if you're listening to it on here,
Yeah,
you do get the visual tie-in with what you're listening to. So again, it's another element of cohesiveness that you create with a band and a sight and sound.
yeah.
yeah,
And
exactly.
the new one reminded me so much of Death Angel's Humanicide album too, because it's all purple. And I was just like, oh
Ah,
man, it kind
yeah.
of reminded me a lot of that when I first
Yeah.
seen it. So that's cool. Um, so you guys,
It is the album.
have you guys had like I guess release party or anything for the new album yet? Or
We
Yeah, we
had
have. Go.
go, Danny. You talk.
Okay. Well, we just have a release party in 24th of May in Bologna, and we had some shows with Vexovoid, with it's a very old friend band with interstellar thrash metal. So you're just incredible, and that metal band called the Ushkwarna, that really kick ass, and we're going to play a lot of songs from Face the End, so it will be a good show, I think, for know the new song, for knowing it that if the song were plays loud live,
So
loud and
yeah,
fast.
yeah. So I mean, uh, when because now that you have the new album, and I mentioned earlier in the show that you guys have other songs talking about thrash metal on some of the other albums. You have another dose of thrash and Tuba Tuba or Die on For Humanity, and then you have Neon Maniacs on Crimes Against Reality. So I mean you have other anthems, I guess you could say, that you could add to a set list. So, I mean, do those are there songs that you guys always play? Because now that you have another album to add to to the arsenal, and more, you have 10 more options now that you can add to the set list. So, I mean, are there songs that are like always on the set list, and then how are you looking at incorporating the new, aside from the album release party? how are you guys considering adding the new songs to the old songs, quote unquote old songs? And then, like I say, are there songs that are like, well, this has been a staple, so this one's staying? So
Maybe I think that some obviously the promoting the new album is will make us doing more songs from Face the End than the other
sure,
album, but there's some song that we cannot play. I think that one of us is surely Neon Maniacs and Masters of Control, and I just don't remember.
Yeah, we have
Another Trash,
Near
of course.
Maniacs, Seven Doors to Hell.
Seven Dust Duel.
We
There's
have
some kind of anthem, As a fan, I will respect them. So
yeah, we also another dose of trash. We usually play another dose of trash here in during our shows. Yeah, I think we will keep it. We'll keep it in the next ones.
nice.
Yeah, it's kind
Instead
of
for the
curious.
new one,
Yeah, right.
I
I
think
mean,
the new.
I think we were kind of
Sorry.
curious about that because of Danny being the newer lead singer. How much of the old stuff were you going to incorporate?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because Danny, I'm sure you're not gonna pull a Rob Halford and be like, I'm not singing any Ripper Owens era songs. I
no,
mean,
no,
well,
no.
you've
I
only
was
been here for one album. I mean, you gotta sing some of the other stuff because but,
no, no,
but
no.
so
I
I
just
don't I definitely don't see you pulling one of those. So
no, no, no. I'm just honored to keep playing those songs that I just sing from down the stage. So I just
right. Yeah.
have the chance to sing another dose of trash, to sing Masters of Control. It's a very pleasure to me. It's a great they're great songs, and the crowd is just super sweet with me. So you can just marshal around just like I was Reno, and it's just fine for me.
That's kind of one thing I always hated about critics. They would be like, "Oh, well, this guy can't do this guy's stuff," or that's. But I mean, in the end, it doesn't matter what they think. It's the fans are receptive of it, then that's all that really matters.
For me, it's the same. And
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're in a special situation where you followed this band, so you kind of know all their stuff anyway. So
Yeah.
it's kind of
yeah,
like it's a unique situation where a lot of people
it was
don't get
pretty
to do
easy
that.
to
But
learn the older songs. So
right,
Right.
because
Yeah.
you
I
already
know
knew
that.
them. So
Yeah,
Well, the hell that's almost kind of like a Mark Wahlberg rock star story,
yeah,
kind of.
kind of, yeah.
I mean, yeah,
kind of.
you were a fan of the band the whole time, and then you finally got your shot. So I mean, you know, minus all the drugs and everything, but I mean, but
Yeah,
I mean, but now a lot, and I think a lot of people don't know that movie, and I brought up Tim Ripper Owens a little bit ago. That movie is based on how he got into Judas Priest. I don't.
Right.
I think a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
don't. I don't
I
think a
think
lot
that a
of
lot of
people.
people don't know that movie was based on Judas Priest.
Right.
Right. Exactly.
Exactly.
That's what I mean. Yeah. A lot of people don't know that. I don't think they do. Now, don't get me wrong. It was a good movie unto itself, but I don't think there's a lot of people I don't think that realizes like, hey, this is loosely based on what happened in the band.
Yeah,
So yeah,
basically.
I don't think a lot of people know that. One of the things I wanted to ask is, earlier on in, the life of the band, the first four albums, of course, you had you changed labels between album 1 and 2, but the first four albums came out within a span of 5 years, and then there was a little bit, there was a good, 5-6 year gap in between Claiming Supremacy and Hellframe. So I mean, you guys were moving at a pretty good clip early on, and then you had a little bit of a longer hiatus there between albums 4 and 5. So what was kind of like the reason for that fifth album taking a little longer than the others?
Well, one of the reasons was the pandemic of COVID, and
Sure.
we yeah, we slowed down everything, and the music, the songwriting. We also were focusing more on the live aspects in
Oh, okay.
2018 and 2019. Then when we decided, okay, we could start writing new music in 2000, early 2020, the pandemic broke up, and
Sure.
everything, and we worked on some stuff, but then you couldn't exit your home. You had to, all these kind of problems where you couldn't meet all your bandmates. You
Hmm.
couldn't practice, and all this stuff. Everything, has been, has been pushed forward.
Mhm.
Right.
And we didn't make it to realize an album until October 2023.
Okay. Yeah, I had a
And I,
feeling. I had a feeling the pandemic was kind of in
well,
there somewhere. But yeah.
I don't know if anybody like because I mean we talk about how short term memory is with everybody in the world, but
Yeah.
if we go back and look at Italy was hit pretty hard with that too.
Very
Yeah,
hard.
Yeah, I think they were
We
probably one of the
almost
most
had
hardest hits. Yeah,
2 years of
mm,
breakdown. So
yeah,
2020 was just canceled.
right.
2021,
Yeah. Yeah. It was. Yeah.
2021 was just a few moments of hair of air, and but you cannot go on practice on rehearsal together. So you just have to do at home, and you're going down mentally, and the
Hmm.
creation part, it was just broken.
Mm,
Someone can create an isolation, but that I think this was not the situation, the
no,
way.
we were used to practice all together. We were used to, meet all together in the rehearsal room and doing stuff together. With the pandemic, everything, has been, blocked. We
Yeah.
were in
Because
lockdown for 2 years.
yeah,
so
I
so
remember seeing like news stories of the stuff that you guys weren't allowed to
yeah.
do over there. I mean, you guys basically had to stay home. You could the
Mhm.
only time you could go outside was like if you had a balcony, you could like go out on your balcony, and then if you guys can correct me if I'm wrong because like this is just some of the stuff I saw on the news here in the United States, which is is spotty at best,
Yeah.
but that's being nice. But like you guys had to stay home. No one could
Yeah,
go out. I mean,
no,
even if you had like essential stuff, you had to you had to have it like brought to you. So I mean, it was you
yeah.
guys really got it rough
Mhm.
because I mean, it was like keep your ass at the house. You are not going anywhere.
You're not going
Yeah,
anywhere. You're not going in a garden, in a mutual garden. You cannot go. Uh, you can you can go by a walk with your dog once a day. So everyone
Okay.
buy a dog.
Yeah, everyone bought a dog. Yeah, I'm allergic to dogs. Let's go buy three. So I mean,
Yes.
Someone
I gotta
goes
get out
off
of the house.
with someone go with a plastic dog. That's my dog.
That's
It was
funny.
pretty
yeah,
fucked up. So it was
man.
insane. It
I'm glad we can laugh about it now, and but and I'm glad we all made it through. But I mean, it was a really really fucking weird time that we
yeah.
all went through. So I mean,
yeah.
I know a lot of people lost loved ones, and it's super unfortunate, but so I mean,
But
by and
So
large, we all made it through. So it's
but
good. But man, it was weird.
man, it
so let me.
was really weird. But we're Italian, so we government gave us restriction, and the people just came with creative create some
To
creative
find a way.
way to find a way to move around the rules, and
Oh yeah,
just
oh
we
yeah.
just saw everything. It was just crazy. It was, come on, let me go off and shut up. But
Yeah.
So
uh,
is the mob still like present over there? Or?
maybe, but we're just in the North Italy, which just a different kind of mob.
Gotcha. I was just saying, I bet they didn't restrict nothing. They was like, man,
Yeah,
They
no.
don't care about anything.
Yeah,
but
it's like it's like
when
so
you
is the
were,
mafia. It's like so is the mafia still active over there? No,
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 no, absolutely not. Why would you say that? Why would you say that?
we say it. He said, man, he's baiting me into saying some shit on this live
Right,
podcast.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, you going back to like, it kind of brought a thought to me when you were talking about this. So it was kind of hard to commit to doing anything, even if it was, remotely, because I think once you commit, you kind of like, you're all in. And like, if somehow the feeds or something didn't work out and then the time was kind of off, it would kind of throw everything off. So I can see why like live get-togethers is important for a band. So is that kind of like the feel that you guys had because you did it together so long that you wasn't even trying to willing to do anything remotely? Or
but I think it's not just the remotely, but it's just the way we have to go home, we staying home with no possibility to go out. Your mind just go crazy and your creativity
right,
just go down.
yeah,
So
okay,
it's
that makes
not the
sense.
way. It's not the way you, our drummer is just live in a 4 hour trip from us.
Mm-hmm.
Zero stays a 3 hour from me. So doing rehearsal together, it's a real tricky in during the work during
The
the week,
pandemic.
Yeah.
just naturally. And during the pandemic, it was pretty hard just because we cannot go outside and do basic stuff. So your mind just go down to the reset.
Yeah, no one has any inspiration to do anything when you're looking at the same four walls all day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, just
Yeah.
nothing. Someone
you're a
can, I
prisoner
cannot.
in your own house.
right, exactly.
It's kind of like you brought that up. It's kind of funny you brought that up now because we actually got to see Havoc a little bit after everything kind of came back open. We saw them here in Nashville, and we kind of met Pete and David. And like when I met them, Chris can attest this. The first thing I asked David, I said, "Man, are you psychic?" Or he's like, "What do you mean?" I said, "You know everything on that like V album, which is your fifth album." Damn near happened like a year after you wrote those songs.
That's right. Yeah,
He's just like, he said, "Man, it was just coincidental. I promise you." but it was just amazing how they wrote that album, and then I started like listening to it after the pandemic. I'm like, dude, this album came out a year before, and it's like spot on with shit that we just went through. It's so crazy.
Yeah, it's just well,
So
Yeah.
2 years.
Like I say, thankfully
Years
it's all world history now. So
yeah.
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 Now Zero, we talked about Sophisticator and Danny's other bands. Now you and Sanso have another project that you guys are still working on. I'm assuming you guys are still working on Rough Touch. Is that's still going on?
Yeah, we're still writing new stuff, but at the moment we are we are not doing anything, because our drummer broke his arm, so we are like
Oh, okay, all right, yeah.
Yeah, we have something boiling. We have
Mm.
some new songs, but we can't record them. We can't play live shows because until it gets well, we are like a little, there are big problems that that can't allow us to do anything.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
Not everyone has Rick Allen on speed
I was
dial.
fixing to say that. I was just fixing to say that. Like, I was like, walking around with a broke arm. This guy plays with one arm. Come on.
Yeah. So not everyone has a Rick Allen.
No.
So nobody, so not all bands have the money to rig drum kits for Rick Allen. That's the thing.
Well, yeah, that's true too.
We ask him. We ask him to.
Hey.
We ask him that we can try to do like Rick Allen, so letters. So.
Yeah.
We say it's a little bit too expensive for me. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Let's wait you to adjust you to put your arm to get your arm gets well.
Yeah, 6 to 8 week, a little 6 to 8 week hiatus is a lot better than having to foot the bill for Def Leppard's drummer for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's one part of these interviews that we always like to hear from bands, and it's you guys being in separate bands too. Outside of Game Over, you can also include those. But we always like to hear any kind of stories that have happened to you guys, like funny or just memorable, just anything that kind of like stuck with you throughout your touring careers.
Some road stories.
Yeah.
Well, China is the main, it could be the main topic for me.
Okay.
Especially the food, because I eat pretty much everything. Okay, so if you gave me I don't know, a piece of shit, but it's well cooked, I could eat it without any problem. Without any problem.
I can tell you he did.
Wow. Okay, I wasn't expecting that.
Well,
Okay.
the first day we arrived in China, in Italy we are used to make breakfast with milk or something that is sweet. Okay,
Yeah.
pretty much most of the people makes breakfast with sweet things. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we arrived in China, and at 9 a.m. the tour manager brings us in this restaurant with this soup made of lungs, garlic.
Oh my lord.
Yeah, and other stuff from other organs, other piece inside,
Some
other
kind of
innards,
gut.
entrails.
Yeah.
Yeah, like guts and stuff like that. Well, I did enjoy it, honestly. The other guys had little problems with that kind of of soup, because it looked like a soup. It was like this jelly soup, strange soup, and
Ugh.
yeah, it's been the first the first meeting with Chinese food for them was really really hard, and it's been really really hard for the entire tour for them. And yeah, we had 4 days in Sichuan. It's the region in China where you eat spicy food, but it's
Okay.
really spicy.
Okay.
And you eat spicy at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So you
Wow.
always eat lunch. So we had our our asses that were exploding after this 4 days. I remember we asked please, the fourth day we asked them, please, can we eat something that is not spicy? We love spicy, but we can't eat spicy today. Yeah, it's not a problem. Let's go. Come with us. And the lunch was spicy. The dinner was spicy. So it was like impossible. It was impossible to eat normal food, not spicy.
Even the
food.
bread was spicy.
Even they don't eat bread, so we can't. We couldn't eat anything that was like bread or milk, so you can smooth the spiciness. No, it was.
This segment of the podcast brought to you by Prilosec OTC. So.
That's right. Yeah. I didn't know they don't eat bread over there.
I didn't either.
No, I've never been there. I don't know. I have no idea. Not a clue.
They have the rice stuff. They make spaghetti with rice, udon with rice, but they don't eat bread. I never eat bread during the 20 days, and the only day the other guys eat bread was at McDonald's, one of the last days of the tour, but never eat bread.
Yeah, and you guys are probably, thank God, bread. It's just something that's not
something that's spicy after 4 days is just one.
So here's an interesting question: since you guys went to the McDonald's there, correct? You guys did go to the McDonald's there.
I did not.
You didn't? Okay, I
The
was
other
kind of
guys went.
okay. I was kind of
The
wondering
other
what
guys went.
if there was any difference from there, like McDonald's, than your
I heard
McDonald's or
I heard there's a
American
Yeah,
McDonald's.
I heard there's a huge difference.
there are yeah, because there are differences between European countries too. For example, you can find something in Italy that is completely different from France or Germany or UK. We have McDonald's has different products for every country here in Europe,
Huh.
We got to
because
remember
maybe
we got to remember when we interview these bands from over there to find something in their cabinet that we have, so we can come out and compare ingredients here. So
We kind of that would
because I always like you always hear these stories, but I don't ever like have an opinion until I experience it. You know what I mean? It's like if you pull out like a box of Cheerios, you say, "Oh, it's got these 3 ingredients in it." Then I'm pulling out a box with 13. It's like, okay, something's fucking wrong here.
Yeah,
It's
because
like,
we have so much fake shit that goes into our food.
Yeah,
It's ridiculous.
ridiculous.
But something you just said, Zero, kind of stuck with me. They made spaghetti out of rice.
yeah,
Over
I
there
mean,
in China?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how they call them. I call spaghetti because they look like Italian spaghetti. So for me,
Okay. Okay.
it's like a spaghetti pasta, but they're made
Oh.
with rice or
They're
soy.
just
You know,
noodles.
So it was a rice pasta, I guess. So.
yeah,
Oh,
something
okay.
like that.
Okay.
They're kind of noodles.
Yeah,
Oh,
kind
all
of
right.
noodles, but way thinner, and they
Okay.
sometimes you can
Okay.
find them also made of soy, and they are transparent, something like that.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. I was just
Interesting.
They're just noodles.
because I was wondering how the hell they pulled that off. But I remember because Jason will remember this when we talked to Carol and Alex.
Oh yeah,
They told us something that broke
yeah,
our damn brains
yeah.
because
Broke our hearts, man.
yeah,
Like,
well, broke our
oh,
heart for sure. Because I love Italian food. I fucking love Italian. I could eat Italian food every day. I swear to God, I could. I love lasagna. I love spaghetti. I love, and I'm sure the stuff we get over here doesn't even hold a candle to the stuff
yeah.
you get that you guys get to eat. Um, but yeah, we got to talking about food because, like I say, we brought up the same thing about how much I love Italian food, and come to find out, and like Jason said, but this was like one of those mind blowers. Come to find out that chicken Alfredo isn't a thing. And we and Carol told us that. I was like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? I've been eating chicken Alfredo my whole life. What are you talking about? It's not a thing.
It's at every Italian restaurant in America. What do you mean?
Yeah, she's like she was like, yeah,
I
we
don't
don't.
know it.
I
I
don't
don't know
know.
it.
Yeah, she's like, I have no idea what that is. She's like, we don't need that
It's
here. And I
the
was like,
same stuff from fettuccine alfredo.
yeah,
Sometimes stuff like that. I know a story, but in Italy it's not a thing. It's
yeah.
it,
So when she
we
told
just
me that, I was
don't
like,
know what you're talking about. Just
Yeah, I guess they don't
but
add meat. They have it, but they don't add any meat to it. It's
yeah.
just the
So
sauce and the noodles.
yeah. So when
no,
she,
we didn't have the meatballs in the spaghetti.
Right.
We just don't do
yeah. So yeah, when she told me that like totally fucked me up. I was like, oh my god. Now don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I still make it. I still eat the hell out
Right.
of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now I
There's
know that now
If
that I
you
know
enjoy,
it's
you
it's
can eat
it's
whatever you want,
yeah. So I mean,
Yeah.
like
now I
Zero
know.
does.
I
You
don't.
know what? You know what? The It's that in Italy we have so much. I mean, I think it's pretty much the same everywhere, honestly, because in Italy we have so much different kind of food that differ just for a little, and people thinks that it's a completely different dish. For example, if you're eating spaghetti with sauce and you put meatballs, it's what's okay. You have meatballs, but it's still spaghetti with a sauce, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are so different dishes in Italy that maybe someone makes spaghetti with meatball. Maybe I don't know. And
Well, there is some check. There's some Italian that goes to in the U.S. and they came with their stuff. They're
Uh,
just the food and the recipe to what Americans like, you know. So
Yeah.
it's still Italian food because it's made by Italian people in
Right.
America. It's different. It's
Yeah.
like Chinese food in Italy. It's different from Chinese food in China. Or
Yeah.
burgers in US is different from burgers in Italy because
Right.
it's adjusted to our taste, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just, but food in Italy is just a religion. So
Right. Right.
we
Yeah.
And I,
got the fundamentalist in a minute. So I said, you know, chicken
So
bacon instead of
yeah.
ah,
So
how
all right.
dare
So
you?
yeah. So okay.
You
So
put
then.
pineapple on pizza. I don't give a
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Listen,
I think we actually asked that question too.
We
Here.
did
Yeah.
we asked that question
uh,
and they were like, "Fuck no!" They
They
were
like
like,
we.
"Hell no!"
It's like it's like
we don't put pineapple on pizza, but it's not a problem for me if you want
I
to
know I
do.
don't either. I don't either.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
All
it's
right.
not
So
a problem if you want to do it. But in Italy, we don't because
no.
it's just nothing. There is no why. It's just not a thing. You know,
Yeah.
with some kind of
That's the thing. Like over here, like we'll have friends sometimes on like Facebook or something say, pineapple on pizza or no, and I say, well, no, because we actually talk to Italians and they don't do that shit. So
That's right. Yeah, we somebody actually did post that after our interview with Carol and Alex, and we're like, nope, we got it from the source. No, hell
oh
no.
yeah, yeah, it does
But
not happen. Yeah,
but
can't do it. Can't do
now
it. Stop calling it Italian if you do it. How about that?
right now having said that, because you talked about the food in China, and and you've been to the United States. So what was your opinion of the food over here when you came here?
Personally, I think it was pretty good because we had chance to our friends in Condition Critical. It's a thrash band from New Jersey,
Hmm.
and they brought us in many places that I think they cooked really pretty good food. I still remember these chicken wings in Boston that were
Okay.
very extremely good to me. And or in Texas, we tried meat
Barbecue.
The barbecue.
no, not barbecue. We tried barbecue in Atlanta and it was fantastic.
Oh man, you should
Okay.
have did
But
that.
in,
Should have that in Texas. That's what.
You should have done yeah, you should have done
okay.
barbecue in Texas.
No, instead in Texas we tried meat normal meat like a beef,
Okay.
grilled beef,
a
Oh,
steak.
grilled
like a
beef.
steak. Yeah.
Yeah, egg stick. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
A
steak.
stick,
Steak.
and it
Yeah.
was yeah, it was really good. Like it was like yeah, it was like
Big,
that
yeah,
tall.
yeah,
Oh
Danny,
yeah.
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Danny, yeah.
yeah,
Everything's bigger in Texas. So
That's
yeah, yeah.
it is.
I tried some wine that was really good, and we tried what's the name of the mix between the Mexican and
oh, the
Texas food.
Tex-Mex.
Tex Mex that was
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved it, and also in where we were still in New Jersey. That this friend of us brought us in this pizzeria, and we tried some pizza over there, and was pretty good. Yeah,
Nice.
was pretty good. Also, we tried also pizza pretty much all over the U.S. So
well, yeah. I
I
mean,
pretty
yeah,
Yeah, you kind of have
yeah.
to try it. Yeah.
You brought
yeah
so since
You're
we're
so
all since
Italian.
yeah
You're
since
so
we're
Italian. You get,
since
oh, I will try spaghetti in US. Why? Try to get food.
well
I,
because
lo-
you because
I liked
you
it.
because you know the authentic flavors. So I mean, if
Yeah.
that's one of the
Yeah,
things that I was about to get to is like I don't know how many actually authentic Italian places we have here. But I was in Texas a couple of years back, I think 2019, I think it was, and we actually went into it was like I don't know, it's like we put this place in a GPS, and like it seemed like we were like, it was almost like a mob hideout or something by the time we got there. So I'm like, man, this has got to be real Italian food here, man. Like it's out in the middle of no damn where, you know. And then we go in and we order like a pizza and another dish. I can't remember what the other one was, but beet ziti or so I don't know. But anyway, it's like
Which
and it
isn't
was
Italian
different.
either.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. I don't know what it was. I can't remember. I don't think it was that, but I think it may have just been spaghetti. But
oh,
anyway, we had two dishes, and like I was saying, I was like, man, this might be true Italian. And she's like, yeah, but you know how it is over here. It's like we've never been to Italy, so we don't know. But we were in there, and while we were in there, it was around Christmas time, and this person come in and wanted to speak to the manager, and I was like, "Oh, what's going on here?" So they brought him out, and they were actually gifting him a bottle of wine. They said, "Oh, here's Merry Christmas or whatever." And he goes, "Oh, thank you," and he was just like, "Mwah, mwah, yo, thank you." And I was like, "Oh, this is some real shit right
it's
here."
It's the real thing.
I said, "This motherfucker probably does club people and put them in the back of the trunk and shit over here." So, but yeah, I think that may have been
fine to each other. There's no love at all.
I think that may have been the most Italian place I've ever been to here, but because I've never like had seen the people come out and do those sort of things, greeting and stuff. So I'm just like, wow, this is crazy. But and the food was a lot different there. So
we do have the one restaurant. We do have the one restaurant here in town where
and they are Italian because they actually like they'll like it's almost like a Italian Waffle House because it's like all open. You went there watch them prep everything. Like you watch them like make the noodles, put them through the grinder thing and everything, dude. It's crazy to sit there and watch them do that because they'll make it as you order, and they'll work it all out, put it through there, wring it out. So they just do enough for the dish, and then they'll cook it, and it's like, oh man, it's crazy. So you have to wait like 20-30 minutes to actually get it after you order, but it's worth it. It's worth it.
Good. It is so good. It's
the only important thing you have to do in the restaurant. The food has to be good, and Italian or not, I don't care. It just
exactly.
It's like my wife is from Louisiana, so her side of the family has got all the Cajun heritage, and I'd never had because I'm from Michigan.
Okay,
she's from Louisiana, So when we met, I'd never had Cajun food before, and of course I do love rice, but almost every Cajun dish has some sort of rice in it. So I mean, I like rice, it's fine, but her mom and her dad, I mean, they're honest to God, Cajuns. And so now I'm eating gumbo and jambalaya and crawfish etouffee, and every time they make that shit, I'm like, I want all of this. I'm just like shoveling it into my face. I'm like, this is so good. It's like, but because you're getting it from people who really know how to make it. But it's just I just inhale it. It's ridiculously good. So. And it is spicy though, which is fine for me. But I mean.
But spicy is good. It's not every day and in every single meat.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Because we all love spicy, but the difference is that we eat spicy every day.
Yeah, for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's a lot.
Dude. Yeah, it was like a killer days.
Well, and I know
you guys. Now you know why all those people over there are so skinny because they're shitting all the time. So.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, pretty much.
Maybe. You made a good point.
Yeah, we don't actually ingest anything; it just falls out.
It just falls out. So I wanted to like reel this back in for a minute. It was funny, like. Because I mentioned like when they sent us the packet or whatever, it had the video for Lust for Blood in there, and I watched that and like when and you can go in there and look at my comments on there still, and I said this is the best example of 1985 meets 2025 I've ever heard in my life.
That's right.
And it was. I was just like, dude, this is like so crazy good because like I said, it kind of had the old school feel, but it had the new school, touch to it, and it made it. I don't know if you guys ever heard anybody compare you guys to 85, but that was that was.
I think it's the first time. That guy, cast what we are trying to do because we all love 80s thrash metal and heavy metal and hardcore. But we don't want to sound like our stuff is recorded during those years. I mean, we are in 2025. We take inspiration from those years, and we try to do our stuff in modern days.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still fun to do like a little bit of a callback, a little bit of a throwback to that era, giving kind of like paying homage to like the foundation of like where your musical roots came from. And I love, and kind of like to echo what Jason just said. I mean, it was like a seamless combination of the two.
I actually found it. I'm going to share this with you guys because I think it's hilarious.
Okay, what? All right, well, yeah, put it up there. Yeah.
And then there's my comment. It says this is probably the best example of 1985 meets 225 I've ever heard. That's me.
Yeah.
And then I had somebody. Yeah, that was the funniest one after that. I see is like it feels like Doc Brown just showed up with the DeLorean. I was like, that's great. Like, but it's like, so it's like cool that so many people were kind of like feeling the same thing I was with that. So
it was the best comment on the video for me. So thank you very much. It's just the best compliment you can give to us because we really grow up with 80s thrash metal, so it's just in our blood, and that's the stuff we liked for so many times, for so many years. But we're here now in 2025, so it's just it's just our way to express our music and that's how we wanted to sound.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I think it's impossible to sound like, or no, it's not impossible to sound like in the 80s, but I think it makes no sense to sound like in the 80s nowadays.
No, right. I mean, there's some bands that do it. I've actually listened to a few albums. I'm like, man, this is retro as hell right here,
Mm-hmm.
So, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I just don't think you could you don't want to get oversaturated with that kind of sound in this day and age, especially and like I think a lot of bands probably like the raw, just a man, his guitar and an amp kind of thing. Where in this day and age, it's like you got an amp in your back pocket. It's kind of like a whole different world now than it was then, where you had to like load up 3 PVs and your shit just to do anything. But yeah, it's crazy. Like we were talking about that with somebody at the convention recently, and they were talking about how different it was because they've been around this whole time. And it's like, yeah, man, it's like much easier now. I can just throw my pretty much my amp and everything in my suitcase, my carry-on. So it's like we would have never thought anybody would be saying that if we were in 1985 right now. To say, oh yeah, we'd be throwing an amp in a suitcase. Like, yeah, get the hell out of here. But but it's like that's just the way technologies went, and I think it's a good thing because, like I said, I think you're talking 40 years. If you'd have hadn't had that technological advancement, then you would have a lot of bands sounding alike. I mean, because now you have all the pedals and now everything, you can change up stuff, and it's just so and it's cool because now we have so many more sounds and so many more bands that we can like.
Yeah. The options are way more.
And hell, I mean, the instruments themselves have just gotten better too. So I mean,
true.
So I mean, even if you don't use a lot of like the ancillary stuff for your for your sound, I mean, just the instrumentation has gotten better too. So I mean, you can just, you just sound better just because the instruments are the higher quality of just the instruments alone. So that's helped too. But yeah, I mean, you can a lot of people give Kirk Hammett shit for the amount of the wah pedal that he uses, and don't get me wrong, some of it's warranted, but I mean, so I mean, Kirk Hammett does his thing, Tom Morello does his thing. I think he's another one who just kind of abuses the privilege, but that's just me. But but still, fans of those sounds, I mean, they have that because of what Jason was just saying, because technology leaps and bounds. And we won't get into the whole AI thing because we think that's bullshit. We think it's cheating, kind of. But so it still needs to be, in our opinion, it still needs to be a guy or girl, a person. I'll just say it still needs to be a person actually playing the instrument, hands on, making the sound come out. So
yeah.
So says the guy that well, I don't say the guy that created it because I did it, but we have an AI intro. But That's just because it's kind of temporary. But
yeah, it's a holdover. It is.
yeah.
It's a holdover.
Well, I mean, we had been talking about it for a while, and we just started doing it this year. It's like, man, we need an intro. Like, and we've got a band working on one for us, but it's slow going.
Don't you guys play?
Yeah.
Don't you guys play any?
No,
I did. Like,
don't.
how old am I now? Let's see, 30 years ago, I guess. So, but I actually have a bass and an amp downstairs that I haven't touched in like 2 years. So, but yeah,
I don't, and I wish I did, but I growing up I was always playing sports.
Same.
Yeah. So I mean, I was always playing sports. I mean, music was obviously always around in my ears and everything, but I wish I would have picked. And of course, the instrument that I would have picked is the most expensive. I probably would have gravitated more towards the drums.
Yeah.
But I do wish I played something, but I don't. So
I just work. Okay. I just try to work on my death metal.
It's not a problem. I don't play anything. Me too. So.
You can do an intro with your death metal.
Just do death metal vocals. Yeah.
Yeah. And Danny, what did you say? You said you don't play anything either. Is that what you said?
Oh, it's not a problem. You can pretend to sing just like me and say, "Yeah."
I don't think I could ever sing like you. Just
no, what you do, Danny. What you do isn't one of those fake it till you make it kind of things.
No.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I guess that we didn't really touch on that at all. Do you have any kind of warm ups or anything that you do before going to shows or anything, or you just kind of just go out there and just do your thing?
You just straight up Udo Dirkschneider the whole thing.
Yeah.
I would like to, but I had to do a 30-minute warming up with vocals and muscles. So just not for not dying on stage.
Right. Well, so do you do a cool down method too afterward, or?
What? Sorry?
Do you do a cool down method afterward too, or?
No, afterward it's just a beer. It's okay.
Gotcha.
Well, I mean,
because we have.
I'm assuming the beer is cold. So I mean,
yeah. Well, there you go.
Yeah, some kind of. But before go to bed, I would just need to tea or with some ginger and
somebody else said that too. I think that we talked to said they do the ginger and tea and lemon or something.
Yeah, I basically made off myself with ginger 70%. So
there you go. There you go.
Vocals, I just eating ginger all day long in concert time. So I just need to have my vocals clean and hydrated as much as I don't have any talent. So everything is an effort. So
this guy. This guy's so humble.
Oh no, I know my limits so much.
Well, that's a good thing. I think you do need
that.
To
that is a good thing that you know your limits. Yeah.
Because if you don't, then you're blowing your vocals. I mean, if you don't know your
limits. And I still blow it. So I was just trying to set my limit just a little more every time. So I just trying out what kind of mixer, what kind of silence I have to do, because the best thing you can do for your vocal is shut up. The best medicine you can do for your vocals, just shut the fuck up. But I can't because I'm the frontman. You need to talk with people. You talk with the promoter. You talk with everybody, and I just have fun to talk with people. So I cannot just stay quiet. But I have to. So in order to make myself a singer, I need to take some medicine, some spray, some ginger, and some kind of herboristic stuff, and for vocals. Oh, it's kind of herb for a singer. Okay, I'll buy it. And I just take care because I wanted to go. I'm not in my 20 anymore.
Right. Yeah. I feel that.
Right.
I have some. My time to recover. My recovery time is just growing
longer.
It's longer, and I need to. But I want to go to keep going with this life for as much as I can. So I need
right.
to take
Yeah,
care of
I mean,
myself.
yeah, longevity is key. So I mean,
It absolutely is.
whatever gets you to being, into the Rob Halford age or whatever, you're still able to do those things. That's amazing. So
I just admire them because they just rock and roll. Ah, yes, I get on stage and do it.
yeah, yeah,
Oh
right.
yeah. Yep.
How I do it once? I do one scream and I just blew up. And it's a human for me. It's a human. It's just a blessing. It's superhuman. I don't know. I don't know. It's just amazing from another planet. I don't know. I just wanted to be like them. I tried, but I failed so much, and so I just need to take care and be quiet and be shut up and that kind of stuff. That there's not metal at all. Not metal at all.
What
uh,
would Lemmy from Motorhead say about this?
not
that kind of brings on an interesting question that we usually don't ask, but it's came up a last couple of interviews we did. Is do you guys have like any other genre of music you listen to? Or
A lot.
yeah.
A
Yeah,
lot.
different kind of music. I have been playing in a stoner band just like a few years ago, and
okay,
into progressive rock from so many years, Italian and American and English and so many stuff. But zero have more spread
gotcha.
music taste.
Yeah, I always play metal and hardcore stuff. I never tried any other genre, but I really listen way different kind of music, honestly, because beside metal, so thrash metal, heavy metal, etc., all the big metal family, I personally enjoy a lot of Italian singers,
Okay,
a lot of
is
funky
it
stuff.
is it more operatic or
No, no, I mean it's more rock Italian music,
oh,
Italian
gotcha,
rock
gotcha.
music.
Okay. All right.
Okay. And some I don't know how to say it, but some folk Italian music that is not the typical Italian music you can imagine, is something different from the 70s and from the 80s. It's more Italian pop music maybe than
Okay.
folk music.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and I know this is going to be a crazy question, but do you ever get any kind of inspiration from doing that? Or
Sometimes there's one of them that gives me inspiration, especially during the for the solo parts. For the solo parts,
oh,
because
okay,
they have guitar solos in their music, and yeah, sometimes I take inspiration from them. Also because uh, Italian singers in Italian music has this particular approach to melody, and in Game Over we have a lot of melody.
hmm,
So I
Yeah.
think this not only in the vocal parts, but even in the solo
right,
parts. So I think that this sometimes gives me a little of inspiration. Yeah, but yeah, I listen a lot of music. So I love soundtracks from movies.
okay,
I love hip hop. Some kind of hip hop music, like the old one, the oldest one from late 80s, early 90s, from the US
Right.
and from Italy. Yeah, I listen a lot of different kind of music.
okay. That's good. Like I
Nice.
like I said, it was just kind of something that came up because we were talking to one band recently about inspiration, and they do a lot of classical, and I thought, that's kind of interesting. And
Oh,
then
it's
again,
not.
we've talked to a lot of bands that actually, you know, was it Ari
Yeah.
reality?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
from the reality machine. He
Yeah.
actually
Ari.
teaches music to
Yeah.
like
He teaches music.
yeah,
Yeah.
so like
Okay.
to
Yeah. It was Ari. Yeah.
middle schoolers. So it's and then we
Well,
just talked to Kiss and Lilith last week. And both of those guys are their careers are their full time jobs are in music. So
Yep.
they're it's kind of like it's all like intertwined. So it's kind of cool to see them like working on and teaching different aspects of music, but yet they play metal. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like I could see how you could probably do those things and like, oh, I could turn this into a fucking riff, you know? It's like,
right, yeah.
But even
Well, and
for melodic vocals, I like to take inspiration from very different genre, very different kind of music that just like progressive rock or from the Journey, from Italian music. Because if you can turn, if you can metallize some other aspect, you can make your unique style. You know.
yep.
right.
So take inspiration from outside the genre. For me, it's the only way to keep it fresh, because if you always reuse your trash element, your trash metal or heavy metal stuff, you're just reusing it too much. It's just redundant for me. So I prefer to take inspiration from all other genres. It's very bad. It's better for me because it's you think outside of the box.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
So this one maybe more of a question for Zero here. Has Game Over ever recorded any covers of songs or anything? Or?
We did a couple of cover songs. The first one was, if I'm not wrong, you spin me around
Oh,
like a
yeah, that's
record
right.
from Dead or Alive, the pop band. We
Hmm.
rearranged it in a punkish, thrashy way. And the second one was Metal Thrashing Mad by Anthrax, and
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
we put it in the Japanese version of Claiming Supremacy. Yeah, Claiming Supremacy CD Japanese version as this cover. Yeah,
Okay.
Nice.
but these are the only two cover songs that we ever recorded. Yeah,
Okay.
no. Danny says no. There's another one.
As a fan, I think it's you have been in a compilation to a tribute to an Italian band called Strana Officina. I think
Ah,
you made
yeah,
l'autostrada dei sogni
yeah. We did
back
the song.
in the 2014 or so,
Yeah. You're right.
and
Now
maybe
that
even
now
what?
now now that is a fan right there. That's
Right.
a
Right.
fan. That's a fan. It's like, no, you had this one on this compilation like 11 years ago. I was like, oh
He
I
shit.
was
didn't
forced.
remember what you do.
I was forced to buy it by some. Well, okay, it's another story.
Yeah. That is
that that's
hilarious.
that is fandom right there. Yeah.
That's right.
So I mean, well, so knowing that, I mean, are these covers anywhere that
Uh, I don't know if you can. I mean, you can find "You Spin Me" the Dead or Alive cover song on
Mhm.
Spotify and on YouTube, I think.
So the singles or
But
something.
I don't know if you can find the Anthrax cover song and the Profumo and the Strano Officina, which is the band Danny was mentioning before
I
on
don't think
YouTube.
there was
Oh
any.
yeah, it says that "Do You Spin Me Rounds" on an EP that you guys put out because
Yeah,
we've been listening to the full length, so we haven't gotten to
oh,
the
Yeah,
EPs.
that's
Yeah.
what it is. Yeah, that's what
and,
it is.
and that one is a re-recording of a previous version we did like in 2009, 2010. I don't remember, but yeah, it's
Okay.
that was the first cover song we ever recorded and was like in the very early years. Then we re-recorded it in 2017.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I should have thought about looking at the EPs and the
I
singles. I
forgot
didn't.
to.
I did. I was looking at just the albums, and I was like, I don't see that. I was looking in the. I
Yeah.
had
No
just the
worries, man.
albums pulled up, but it's
It's,
right
fu-
there.
it's funny you bring that song up because when we went to see Dope with Static X like a couple years, it was last year or a year, I don't know, either here recently,
Yeah, they do it
last
too.
couple of
Yeah.
years, Essel Dope says, this is one that we always got hate for, we haven't played it in a couple of years, so we're going to do this for you. And then he went into that, and I was just like, wow, that's crazy that they
They
actually played that live.
they did a good job with that song too, though.
They
Dope. They did a
did,
good
yeah.
job with it.
Yeah. I said, covers are hard to do. especially when you're trying to manipulate it into your own, mesh or
Yeah.
whatever. So I mean, it is kind of like, okay, how is even you guys could do one and be like, or even if me and Chris were in a band, we could do one and be like, oh man, this is great, we love it, and then the fans be like, oh dude, that's horrible, man. Y'all should
Yes.
so it's kind of like and I think when you do a cover, you have to do it to where you like it. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. It's like this.
Yeah,
I like this. This is what we wanted to do. If it's not, if it's not receptive, then no well. But
we just had fun with it. So
right. I mean, it's just something it's just like maybe it's something that for some reason some of these songs have some kind of inspiration with the band when they redo them. It's like a song that hasn't been redone as much as and then some of them are overly done. So
there are some.
Not in the air tonight's probably one of the ones that comes to mind. I think like 5 bands that I know of have done that song. So not to mention probably the ones I don't know about, but
true.
And that's all hard covers.
I think that doing covers is even more funny when you try to cover songs from other genres.
Right.
Like for example, the Dead or Alive cover song was like the most funny we ever did to me.
I can see it.
Well, that's the thing.
I can totally see why. Yeah,
it's like if you guys are having fun with it, that's all that really matters.
It really is. Yeah.
It was fun ever to hear them, so it wasn't the best part of the show at the time.
Really? So like the other songs really sucked.
No, it's because it was really strange, You spin me right round. Okay, the song, but it was we were just a bunch of kids. So in 2009, and you just came up with this idea, and this was brilliant for me. And it's like, whoa, how they came up with this idea, and now with this, it's fantastic. It sounds like a classical thrash song, so it's pretty much fun for me to watch it live.
Yeah. I'll tell you something else that I've noticed with like you guys. I know. So I guess at some point, I didn't really look into that, but I guess at some point you guys were just a 4-piece.
Yeah, we've been a 4-piece for 15 years. Then we turned into 5-piece in a 5-piece band since 6 months ago.
Oh, so that's like a new thing. Okay,
yeah.
8 months ago when Danny started working with us on the new album.
Okay, I got you because oh man, Renato, is that right?
Yeah, Renato played bass and
sing.
Instead Danny sings, and Leo who is the bass player and he's not here because he's too young to take part in interviews.
It's okay. Totally understandable. But I was just noticing like the thing that stuck out with you guys, all the promotion and stuff here recently has Danny out in the forefront, which that's your front man. And we've talked about this before. I think that's one of the things that kind of related to Steve Souza's exit from Exodus the first time is because they were talking about how he was like, well, I should be in the front. He's like, yeah, but you're not an original member of the band, so just sit back and be quiet. But I think it's because he was trying to force the issue. You know what I mean? It's like if a band comes to an agreement and says, hey, this guy should be in the front, he's our front man, then so be it. But I think that's cool that he's like kind of the newest member of the band, and he's in the forefront for you guys. Like, hey, this is who we are now. This is the guy that's doing all the front man stuff for us, and he's there in the middle. So it's kind of cool that you guys are doing the things I think they should, the way they should be. But that's just me as a fan saying it. But
when when I agreed to join the band, they said to me, "Now you are the frontman. You are the face. Now
there you go. Yeah."
Okay, it's all right. Hi, it's my di primero. So, but okay, I just wanted a bicycle. Now I have to ride now.
Well, that's yeah. You got to pedal your ass off now. That's right.
Yeah.
Right. So how does like having the bassist and the vocalist separate? How is that changing the way you guys are sounding? Is it changing anything at all, or?
We are more packed on the stage, I think.
Yeah. There's no more room on stage because
Now we got an extra person there. Like
Yeah.
it's like
I
it's
think
like
that
it's like you go to those places and like stay on the tape. It's like
yeah, on the X, you see the X stay on that
yeah,
X.
stay on the X.
No, I think that live speaking, I think we are more everyone is more focused on his own instrument. So I think we are, because playing and singing is way difficult
It
than
is, yeah.
playing or singing. And singing is extremely difficult because you have to give I think it's way I try to sing sometimes with the other band Rough Thoughts, and I think it's way harder than playing, but then you
I cannot
you
play
can
guitar, so it's for me. It's just the things I do. So
Right.
yeah, in my opinion, is way different. Is way harder, but and if you have to play and sing, it's
You're
way,
using more
way,
energy.
way,
Yeah, you're using more
yeah, way
energy.
higher. Yeah. And so now everyone
oh,
is doing his
hmm.
Oh, did he
job.
do it?
I
Yeah,
Oh,
think
you
there
we
he
have to
is.
pay
are,
the
Oh,
bill.
okay.
yeah, more focused, more everyone doing his
Uh,
stuff.
yeah. I think that's one of the things. Like I always hear like people bitching about James Hetfield doing that stuff. It's like, oh, he's only playing these certain notes all the time. I'm like, well, I mean, have you tried singing and playing guitar at the
Yeah,
same time? I mean, like,
Yeah, and
you
then
I
and
don't
then
know.
and then have and then having to do all the interaction with the crowd in between songs. I mean, it's
yeah,
exactly. Yeah, it's a
yeah.
lot, man. It's a
There's no
lot.
rest. There's no rest
Hmm.
because if the frontman need to sing, play, and entertain, it's a triple job for me.
Right.
So
hmm
it's very difficult. It's very qualified to do that.
It
I
was.
can do just one thing at a time. So
I think the most unique thing I watched live was I seen Marty Friedman. His band opened up for Queensryche when I went and seen those guys a couple of years ago. And like when you think about a band like Marty Friedman, they don't have a singer. So I'm just like, so that's the first thing that came to my mind when I was like watching them. I said, okay, who's going to be the hype guy here for because they don't have a lead singer. So it was funny that the drummer was their hype guy. Like he would be like,
yeah,
he's like, come on, and it's like I'm like, wow, that's pretty amazing to
it's
see because
surprising.
it is because like I said, I went in blind. I've heard Marty's stuff, but I've never seen him
right.
live. So I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
okay, that's the first thing I thought when I seen him. Like, who's going to be the hype guy? And I was like, okay, this guitarist, no. And it was funny because Marty actually did a lot of the introductions to the band, so I thought, well, maybe he'll do it, because he's in. They did one song, and then he's like, hey, I'm Marty Friedman, if you know me from playing with Megadeth, blah 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 blah. And he's like, here's the other people, and then like one of his guitarists is like Japanese or something. He's like, yeah, she lives right here in Brentwood, I think. And I was like, no, she doesn't. She's from Japan. It's like Jesus Christ. It was just hilarious, but then, like I said, the drummer got all hyped, and I'm just like, wow, this is wow. Like, dude, he did a real good job, though. I think, to be in that situation to where, he had
Yeah.
to step up and kind of be the lead, the lead guy, and man played drums. So it's kind of like, that may be even harder playing drums and singing. I think maybe,
Yeah.
Yeah, there aren't too many bands that have that.
There's a band from Italy that's called Miscreants. They play a technical trash death metal. They released an album 1 year ago or something, and the leader, the singer is the drummer.
Oh,
Okay.
See
wow.
them live. It's every because you cannot see no one as Mike in front of the stage, so you just hear the voice, but you
Don't see
cannot
it.
see who's singing, and then you see the mic from the
Oh,
I don't know
gotcha.
what it's called, but it's the mic here, and it's just
Yeah.
oh, it's him. While you do some technical stuff, and it's just amazing, and it's quite surprising every time I saw them live because they're pretty good, pretty good.
Mm.
If you want to dig it, I just recommend them every time because they're very young and very talented band, and they really a pretty solid album that it's really good. And live they're awesome because they're playing very well, and the drummer is the singer. So
Yeah.
much surprises in just one band.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Well, guys, I know we're running on about 2.5 hours here, which is a pretty lengthy interview for, especially I know you guys are probably winding down the evening over there, so we don't want to keep you
Yeah.
guys from.
I just have to put my pineapple on my pizza. So
uh,
so
Hell
then the
yeah.
police and then the food police just came over on my place and
oh
That's
man,
right.
knocking
Yeah.
on the door. Hey, they
Yeah.
got. We hear you have pineapple on your pizza, sir. You might
Yeah.
step out of the house.
We can smell it in there.
drop
That's right.
drop that pineapple. No.
uh, but like before we go, is there like what are ways that people can get a hold of the album and stuff?
Hi, Danny.
You're the front guy now, man.
You're the front man. Yeah, you're the front man.
So Face the End is out and it's available on every stream, YouTube, Spotify. You can listen to it in every single Apple Music, Amazon Music, everywhere you can go and listen to it and enjoy it. If you like it, buy our stuff on Bandcamp or some US distribution. I don't remember the names, but if you write to us, we will. We are enjoy to answer you with to all your questions.
Cool. Is there a vinyl to this or no?
Maybe.
I think they like we have just 3 copies left.
Oh wow.
Oh, see, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
That's good. Now you
Yes,
gotta wait. Now you have to wait 6 months to get new ones. So
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Scarlet Records is going to print another version, so maybe.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, because the first 2 versions, yellow and red vinyls, are pretty much sold out.
No.
So
well, now they need to do a purple one because that's the one I want.
Yeah. The I'm actually on your guys' website right now. The screen printed vinyl and the marbled yellow are sold out.
Yeah.
Okay.
The marbled red was limited to 250 according to this, and they're still available. So
is there a different website for those guys, Chris? Or because I know the one I looked at was still showing the 2023 album being the newest.
I'm on their Bandcamp,
Oh, the Bandcamp. Okay,
Yeah.
I was actually talking about their actual website, so I didn't know if that is something that's going to be updated or.
There's a website that needs to be updated.
I went to the website, gameoverofficial.net, and then on the merch,
gotcha. Okay, that was a different one then. So
yeah, on the merch link, it takes you to their Bandcamp, and it shows three different versions of Face the End. The screen printed vinyl, limited to 15 pieces, is gone. The 12-inch LP marbled yellow is gone, and the 12-inch LP marbled red is still showing available.
Okay, gotcha.
But there's a few copy of it, so.
Be quick.
Yeah.
Oh, there's .net. Okay.
Get it while it's.
I was on a different one for some reason.
Yeah. So gameoverofficial.net is where I was. And
that's where I was at it.
Yeah.
And you seen the newer one on there?
Gameoverofficial.net.
Is it
Yeah, that's the right one.
Yeah, gameoverofficial.net.
Okay, because when you look at the front, it just shows like new album has been released on October 20th, 2023. Talking about Hell Frames. So.
Yeah, but then like you up at the top, it says home, tour, and merch. If you click,
yeah,
merch,
that's what I was asking. Did you just click the merch? Okay.
Yeah, and it took me over to the gameoverofficial.bandcamp.com.
Gotcha.
Got the
there it is. Okay, cool.
Yeah, got the yellow background with the red logo, and then Larry over there to the left. So
gotcha.
Exactly.
I'm probably gonna I'm probably gonna pick up that Larry shirt. That's cool as hell. I like that.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Yeah,
printed by that's what all our stuff is also printed by Alessandro, the guitar player. He does everything. Cool. It's a completely DIY stuff.
Yeah, that's always
hell. That's even better. Yeah, that's even better.
So that's why you support your bands.
That is exactly why.
They actually do it all.
And that's the guy who made all the graphics. This one.
Oh wow! Okay.
Some of them.
But yeah, I do. I like that. I like that Larry shirt. I do like that. I'm gonna snag one of those.
Cool.
Yep.
All right. And then is there so you want to kind of shout out all of your guys' socials for people to follow you guys? Or?
Yeah.
No, go.
You're the frontman.
Yeah, but this is your turn. Please stop.
Does Danny? Does he use that all the time? You're the front man. Does he use that all the time?
Okay.
Just now.
No, but zero's like it's working. I'm gonna keep doing it. Yes.
Don't do it, please. Okay, so you can follow us on our Instagram page, the Game Over Trash, or Facebook. It's always Game Over Trash, and Bandcamp gameover.bandcamp.com, and our website is gameoverofficial.net. And I think it pretty much. We also have TikTok. But I can remember the nickname.
It's always Game Over Trash everywhere.
It's always Game Over Trash everywhere. It's so easy. Right. I need to study more.
Well, it's kind of like us. We lose track of where we're at most of the time because we're on so many different things. It's kind of
normally pretty much on every copy and paste on every.
There you go.
Yeah. Yep.
That's why we just created a LinkedIn and just had the barcode. You can just go to just pick one,
Yep. It really is easy. I mean, it takes a little bit to get it set up, but once you have it, it's just like, hey, go to the link tree, you'll find it. It's all good.
Yeah, we have also link trees.
On Instagram, there is a link tree. You can go everywhere you want, and you will find us. Nice. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you guys for spending your evening with us, man.
Yeah, we're glad we were finally we were able to hook up after like Jason said, we thankfully have the relationship with Scarlet and these other couple labels that we have, so we feel privileged to have a little bit of like the heads up notice on stuff coming out and having a chance to listen to it early. So it's kind of like it's one of the perks that we've kind of fallen into, having done this for a few years now. So we're kind of grateful for that. And then being able to translate that into, getting together and being able to touch base and meet guys from bands like you. We always have a good time. So,
and I also want to say, appreciate you being able to work with me on this. Cause I know I had a passing and Zero was like, oh yeah, man, we can do it. We can do it on this date. So I appreciate you guys being a little bit flexible there for me. So,
no problem at all. Thank you for having us and giving us space into US market. And we're so grateful to that and to you to the space that you gave us. And
absolutely.
And, hopefully we can see you guys soon over here in the States somewhere. We can
that would be phenomenal. Hell yes.
Yeah, I really hope to come back to the US because we had really a great time last time. So let's see, maybe with the tour, the Festian tour, we'll hit the US too. I don't know, maybe. Who knows? Let's talk with
whatever you guys decide to do, we'll definitely kind of forward that onto all of our socials.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, thank you very much for your help.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, you do all the work really. So we just we're just clicking a share button, man. So Again, Zero, Danny, we appreciate you coming on, man. It's been a pleasure.
It has.
Our pleasure. Our pleasure.
Our pleasure.
And then we will definitely look forward to doing this again at some time. Maybe we can get the rest of the band on. Maybe we'll do it. Maybe we'll do it later in the day where the other ones aren't so hungover. So. Man, I appreciate it, man.
It's the weekend for everybody. So.
Well, it is. Yeah.
But they're still working, so.
Oh, I got you.
Okay. All right. So
yeah. They're working, so that's a good excuse then. So.
Yeah.
Hey, man, like I said, we appreciate you, man. And like I said, anything comes up, Game Over, we'll definitely be forwarding that over to all of our socials as well to get you guys all the exposure we can help with. So.
Yep, we'll spread any word that needs to be spread when it needs to be spread. So
that's right. So.
Thank you very much. Thank you very. We really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Y'all have a good evening, man.
Yep, you guys have a good night and have a good weekend.
You too, guys. Thanks again.
Yeah, thanks, fellas.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
All right. Danny and Zero from the Italian thrash metal band Game Over.
Awesome dudes, man.
Yeah, if you guys haven't checked out the new album yet, and you're a thrash metal fan, if you haven't, that you don't have to be a thrash metal fan to listen to that album. But if you're a thrash metal band and you haven't had any exposure yet to Game Over, you need to do yourself a favor and check out the new album. Hell, check out all 6 albums. Like I say, I've listened to the entire catalog by now, and
now we got to go back and hit the EPs too. So
that's right, we do. I didn't realize there was actually a couple of things I didn't get to, and so I still have a couple things to listen to, but yeah, the LPs are phenomenal, and you definitely won't be disappointed. So,
all right. That being said, I guess we will carry on to our normal. Sell our souls here. So you can check out our 24/7 radio station at stream.trulyradio247.com/8008/stream. And then you can also follow us on all of our socials.
That's right. We got our Facebook group and our Facebook page. The page is public. The group is private. Come on over and get a membership request put in. We'll hook you guys up. Follow us on X, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, Rumble, our YouTube channel, and follow us on Spotify for all of our Theme of the Week playlists. And you can email us at metalheadsuniteusa@gmail.com. All of the interviews eventually end up on Spotify also. That way, if you want to take them with you, you can do that. So.
All right. Well, I guess that will wrap this one up. We will be... Actually, it may take me a minute since I got a lot of other stuff to be going through here, but I'm a little bit behind because of everything that happened last week. But I'll get caught up here and get everything posted up on Spotify and Rumble. That's the only 2 that I have to cut up and throw up. So throw up on there. So cut up and throw up. That sounds like a good metal song. That sounds like good metal. That sounds like a Gwar song, man.
Yeah, it really kind of does. Yeah.
Oh man.
Gwar or Death Clock, yeah.
Oh yeah, somewhere around there. So all right, appreciate again Danny and Zero for joining us from Game Over. Check out their new album, Face the End. It's out there, like he said, everywhere, and then over on Bandcamp if you want to order one. And that link will take you over to their merch if you want to pick up any of their other merch. Because, like I said, they may get over to the States, they may not. So you may pick up something to help those guys out. So
that's right.
All right. Well, that being said, don't forget we was talking about this earlier in the show that our normal hours are going to be Saturdays at 10 from here on out. So just kind of keep that. I'll actually shoot a video and throw it up on our socials sometime.
Yeah, I was thinking
I'll probably do that on Tuesday since I got an off day on Tuesday. So
yeah, I was thinking about doing the same thing on the platforms that I kind of that I kind of take care of too. So yeah, we'll divide and conquer with that, but we'll make sure everybody knows that the show is moving back to its original day and time.
Yeah, that is original.
It is the original day and time. It is. So that's how the whole thing started.
Yeah. Hopefully you enjoyed the interview. And like I said, if you didn't get to see it all, it's on YouTube. right now, as soon as we get over, it's going to be there forever. So you can
That's right.
always go over there. And then I think Facebook's open stuff for like a 30-day period.
I think
now,
a month. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can still go over there. Twitch only holds it for 14 days, unfortunately. So you'll have to go there and catch it pretty quickly there. But the rest of the world, rest of the formats are all, pretty much, a month or more. So like I said, YouTube's forever, and like Spotify is probably forever because I pay for that, so it better.
That's right.
So anyway, hopefully you guys can catch that interview if you missed it. It's really, really good.
Had a great time.
Yeah, it was really good. So hopefully we'll see you guys back here next week with some so far originally scheduled programming, but we'll see. You never can tell with the way things happen and turn around so fast now. With everybody in our inbox, it's kind of crazy. It's like, I think that one week they were just like, can we do it this weekend? Like, if you want to, shit, let's do it. It's like, so had to start promoting like right away at that point.
Yeah, we did. Yes, we did.
It's all good though. It turned out. So all right, guys. Hopefully we'll see you back here next week. Until then, keep those horns held high. Jump in that pit anytime you can.